Let's give them something to talk about. Cool. So, all right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of
The Brothers in Arms Podcast.
Nailed it. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. If there's any episode to perform a Jedi hand job, it's this
Definitely.
one right here. So, yep. Yep. All right. So this week we're gonna do something unique again, and we're switching it up constantly. But this week we're gonna talk all things Star Wars. Specifically, we're gonna go through.
Oh, wait. I thought you said Star Trek.
Star Trek. Uh-oh.
Shit. Everything I have written down is Star Trek.
Uh-oh. Yeah, they all suck. It's easy. That's all you got to say. Hot take. We're going to go through the episodic films, right? Episodes 1 through 9. We're going to briefly discuss each one, and we're going to give them a value, basically 1 through 9, where we would rank them in the order of those films. We're going to compare those numbers at the end, and we're going to see what the brothers' rating is going to be with our combined totals. And we're going to see what the best Star Wars films are, episodic films.
Yeah.
Right? We'll worry about the other stuff later. Maybe they'll get talked about briefly here. But for the most part, we really want to focus on the episodic Star Wars films.
Is that how you say that? Is it episodic?
That's how I said that word. I don't know. I don't know if that's a word. Sounded all right.
That sounds
So
good.
you called me out on it. But. Cool. Well,
Okay.
episode 1.
9. Oh. Okay. We're starting at 1.
You start at 1. I know it's Star Wars. We should probably start at 4 and then go to 1. And
Okay. So, number 1, Phantom Menace. So,
yep.
What are you thinking?
Phantom Menace. The way I want to talk about this a little bit is I want to talk about some things that really worked for me.
Should we just immediately give our number?
Nope, I don't want to.
No?
I don't want to. Do you?
Kind of like right away, just be like,
Okay.
the name and then the numbers,
Fine,
and then we
fuck it.
move on.
Let's do it. All right, episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Bobby.
7.
5.
Wow.
Yep.
You gave it a way better rating than I expected.
5, baby.
Did you watch it?
Oh, I watched it.
You rewatched it?
I don't need to.
I rewatched it.
Let me tell you some things. In the context of all these other films,
Yeah.
it's going to make a lot of sense.
I 100% thought it would be way worse on your list. And I was ready to be like, yeah, it's a 7 for me. I thought you'd be like, oh, that's should be
you thought it
worse.
would come in at 8 or something.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Here's what worked for me.
Okay.
Qui-Gon and young Obi-Wan. They are awesome together.
Yeah.
I will stand by this. They're perfectly cast.
Oh, yeah.
Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, they couldn't have done a better job casting those two guys right there. I believe I was in 8th grade when that movie came out.
Me too.
That was very exciting. And so this is my own personal list, how I, feel about these films. So that does come into play with a few of these kind of contextually what's going on around. But
Sure.
I was very excited about this. And I dare you, find me a cooler villain than Darth Maul in all of the Star Wars movies in the whole universe. Man.
I might have overthought this then. If you're going with like childhood feeling and all that, I was more of like breaking down the movie itself. Because I agree with you. I mean, when I watched it again, I got goosebumps when it first came on. I was like, oh, wait, we're going to be able to see
there's
like...
nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah, and I enjoyed it. I definitely did. One of my favorite things about Phantom Menace was Pepsi having those cans. Do you remember those?
Oh, of course
I had almost every single one unopened and opened. I would go to the gas station every day to try and find new ones. How about
the Taco Bell swag that you
I didn't do
get
any
too?
Taco Bell stuff.
Oh, they had all sorts of stuff at Taco Bell.
We had Taco
too.
John's.
I mean, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
They promoted the hell out of that stuff.
Yeah. And it worked. The pod racing was great. A lot of people didn't like young Anakin. Yeah. I liked young Anakin personally.
Did you?
Yeah. I don't like Hayden Christensen so much, but I definitely didn't mind young Anakin that much.
Well,
I thought it was fun.
I'm on the other end of that, but let me finish highlighting a couple of the things that I like, specifically the best song in all of the Star Wars. So we're looking at arguably the coolest villain, the double-sided lightsaber.
Really cool battle.
And arguably the best lightsaber battle.
Yeah.
I mean, how badass with that? With Duel of Fates going on in the background.
Yeah.
Maul pops out. One blade comes out. Then you see the second half of the red blade fire up.
It's pretty cool.
Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon going after it. This is going to be chock full of spoilers. Qui-Gon meets the end right there. I mean, if you haven't seen it, then you're not watching this. Yeah.
If you haven't seen Phantom Menace yet, I mean, Jesus Christ.
These are major things. Yeah. I mean, all of these things I love, and I will definitely go to bat for. But
so, sorry, are you almost done? I got something to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is going to be huge for you. The only reason I'm cutting you off is because it's so big. Immediately, the credits roll for Phantom Menace, and I immediately was like, George Lucas is a perfect fit to come back and do these next sets of movies.
Yes.
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
No matter how bad those movies are, in people's eyes, critics' eyes, whatever, they were still Star Wars. They didn't feel like an action movie with a Star Wars gloss. They felt like fucking Star Wars through and through with some heavy political agenda in it. Not like realism agenda. It was just like this weird hyper political.
Oh yeah, they brought in all sorts of government stuff.
Crazy political stuff, which is fine. But that's one of my negatives on it is how much it was advertised for kids, like two children, and then it was so like.
There's a stark contrast there.
Crazy.
It's kind of one or the other. You know what I mean? It's the really kiddie stuff and then a lot of that, but everything in between, which I feel like is kind of what I hit on right there. All that stuff is gold.
Yeah.
Things that don't work.
Gungans.
It's so overdone, but Jar Jar and the Gungans, Boss Nass and the gang, they just don't do it for me. I mean,
why is Boss Nass different than the other ones?
That doesn't make any sense.
There's no rhyme or reason to
I don't know. Where's his ears at?
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand that. You know,
I don't even mind I don't even mind that. Whatever. I don't care.
I'm okay with that.
The whole Jar Jar aspect just really fucks that movie over. If they would have just taken him out, it would have just why I'm going to go a little head here, but why in Attack of the Clones does she give him full political power in her stead when he is legitimately like mentally disabled? Like Jar Jar is not just like, oh, he's a dumb klutz.
He's a dumb. Yeah.
He has like the mentality of like a fucking 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And they're like, we leave you all of my Senate power.
Yeah.
Easily. You know what his first act is as Senate leader?
To give Supreme Chancellor Palpatine executive power or whatever, 100%. Right? Yeah.
So
oopsie. Well, there is that whole, and I don't want to get too deep into this, but the whole Jar Jar Sith Lord theory. But I poo poo on that.
Yeah, when you watch it, you're like, if he's the dumbest Sith Lord ever. Like not like mentally dumb.
Everybody, it's just, right there. Right?
He's like it would be the worst Sith. It would be very cool, like to have it like happen. Oh man, just to be like. Just for that, like, oh my God, they did it, you know? But I mean, Jar Jar's.
I don't like the whole, like, slipping on bananas, like, slapstick style of comedy, and it doesn't work for me in a Star Wars setting. It just, sorry, Jar Jar. Like, it could have done without you, but you're part of it, so we'll still try and embrace you. And you were saying you kind of like young Anakin. I really wasn't into the pod racing and the
love the pod racing
stuff. They had the video games and all that, and I wasn't really into all that. It kind of felt a little, especially when like he's with his little buddies on Tatooine and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like Star Wars meets the Little Rascals.
Kinda.
That's how that felt to me.
I could see, but they don't like dive into that.
It's there. It's not deep. You're right, but
classic
it's there.
Classic Jar Jar though, when he gets his head stuck between the laser beams. Fucking so
stupid. Like Wile E. Coyote
so
and
stupid,
Roadrunner, and you know, it's.
I liked I liked Sebulba, and I liked how he was trying to literally kill this child on the match, on the track.
Well, a little darker when you put it that way.
It was brutal, dude.
Yeah.
He's trying to murder this, like an obvious child.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That was pretty cool.
It's interesting,
And
man.
like, he gets taken, like, by the Jedi. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's like, hey, you are the chosen one, kid. Like, you're 8 or whatever the hell. There's your future wife, and you're the chosen one.
Think about how the Sith could have politically spun
God.
that.
Yeah.
They're coming to your planets and taking your children?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was thinking they could have came in and took Anakin.
They could have. I'm just saying, like literally like a political spin and like a news cycle nowadays or something.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty weird. So, another thing I want to touch on, even though they used the puppet Yoda still in episode 1, it
was different.
It was different, yeah, but there still just weren't enough practical effects in this
100%.
one. It's really when the CGI and watching that now, it doesn't hold up very well.
There's certain parts that really do.
The droids specifically don't hold up.
The droids are
very
rough,
well.
yeah.
Like
But it's
massive battle
there's
scenes
like
with the droids.
There's a significant upgrade between Phantom and Attack of the Clones, which is weird because they're only like a year apart, I think.
Yeah, a couple years, I think, right? Or like, was it 2000 and then 2002?
I thought Phantom Menace came out in 99.
99 and then 2002, and
Okay.
then Revenge was 04 or 05, I think.
Okay.
05?
I didn't do any.
So 3 years.
I didn't
but-
do any backstory. I didn't read anything into this.
and without all those practical effects, that's kind of what you're used to seeing. I'm going to touch base more on that later, but that's part of what makes Star Wars to me, you know.
I agree.
And finally, I'm going to use her specifically, but there's a lot of this. Queen Amidala is so damn stiff in this movie, especially when she is the queen and not playing as Padme, as that character. It's just so dry and painful and hard to watch. And I don't like it. I guess that's the character.
She's 14.
She's 14 there, and Keira Knightley's one of her bodyguards in that. Like,
Dude, she's 14 in real life in that movie.
yeah.
That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
I don't know. So it
It's
wasn't
weird.
weird when I had a crush on her.
I was going to say, I was
like 12. So
yeah.
it's fine.
But you still do.
I married a woman that kind of looks like her a little bit.
Allie does kind of look like her.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Cool. All right. So, yeah.
you ready to move on?
Yeah, I liked Watto too. I just wanted to say that before we're done.
Watto's all right.
Watto's a good character.
He's a dice slinging SOB, and that's
He's a good character.
Me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Watto's cool. We
All
see
right.
him too. They revisit him, but okay. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Where's your number? Where do you put it?
Number. Wait, what did you get the top Phantom Menace? You said 5?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm gonna write that in. Attack of the Clones for me is a 6.
I put it at 7.
Okay.
All right. Tell me why. Tell me some of the stuff that was working for you in there.
So, okay. That movie would have been perfect. It would have been the perfect Star Wars movie, I feel, if it wasn't for the romantic bullshit that took up a quarter of the movie between Anakin and Padme. And his
way too much. Way
and
too
his
much
like
of the film.
I mean, I don't know how old he's supposed to be in this movie at this point, but I'm guessing he's in his teens, late teens, like 19, 20-ish, right around there.
Seems
and
fair.
he acts like he's a fucking 2-year-old.
Yep.
Like the whole time. He goes to Padme and literally complains for like 20 minutes to her about how Obi-Wan won't give him a chance. And you're just like,
He's not
dude, come
fair.
on.
He's overcritical.
Oh my God. It's
In
just
some
not
ways,
fair.
I like how he flexes. In some ways, I'm really better than him.
I know. You're like, come on, dude.
What?
So, I mean, other than that, them going to like Obi-Wan going to Genosha. Then there's the water planet where all the clones are on.
Yeah.
The cloners are doing their
Camino.
stuff. So cool, man. You meet Django, you find the backstory of Boba, and like I don't know, it's damn near perfect. And then Yoda and Mace come in and like clean up at the Genoshan fucking
That
pit.
arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have an immediate clone war. Like there's a war against
It's
droids.
the launch right
A
there. Yeah,
huge
that's
war.
it.
And then they fight Dooku and you get to see Yoda kicking ass
Yep.
and like Anakin loses an arm and you know Obi-Wan goes down and it's just this whole crazy fucking thing and you're like, this movie's so good, and you forgot all about the shit that just happened with the romantic shit. Anakin fucking, like, his slide to the dark side is very quick in there when he kills all those Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, he wipes out a whole tribe.
Yeah.
And you're
I
like,
was into
damn.
that. That part was pretty
great.
cool. Yeah.
Great. But
The
romantic
women
aspect.
and
really-
children, too.
I know. I couldn't.
Like,
Yeah.
whoa. All right.
Ain't
And
the
she's
first
just
time
like,
you've done
well, that was pretty messed up of you, but
Yeah, but it's.
power couple, so.
Yeah. I don't know. I really liked it. But
What
that
is
was the
their-
only thing.
What is their power couple name?
Well, do you go by
Pandakin?
Amidala or
Pandakin?
I was gonna say, is it Amidala or is it Padme?
Either or, whatever sounds better. I think it's Padme, but because they use Padme more often, right, than the other.
Is it Padme Amidala?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you could do
Yeah, Amidala is a surname.
Anadala.
Anadala.
Anadala Davida.
Anadala Davida. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you just said right there. So
Yeah.
for me, the highlights is just lots of Jedi.
Yeah.
That's so cool. The
So many Jedi get wiped
launch
out
of the
in that
Battle
arena.
of Geonosis, and they're getting mowed down. You're like, oh no, whoa, I just saw that guy. I want to know about him, and he got murked. You know, Dooku pops a couple shots, and his name Trevor Coleman. He's kind of a dinosaur-looking Jedi that's like up on the balcony with him.
Okay.
Or, I mean Django.
Oh,
Django pops
yeah.
him a couple
And he
times.
like falls
Sorry.
off the balcony and dies. Yeah.
Yep. That's where we see Kit Fisto for the first time.
Yep.
Who's my favorite Jedi outside
What
of...
is the Jedi that has like the metal 2 eyes and the metal mouthpiece, and he's in Clone Wars?
Yeah, Plo Koon?
Yeah, you see him in there too.
Yep. Plo Koon's super cool.
I didn't realize he was in there until I rewatched it. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
there's that dude. Like,
Yep.
I know him.
Plo Koon's super cool. The whole Jango Fett Mace fight where Mace just makes quick work of him.
Just lops
and
his
then
head
you
off.
see little Boba like holding on to the mask. I was like, that's nice. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Again, Ewan McGregor's still fantastic as Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
Like
100%. And even better in this.
even better.
so.
Even better. He's seasoned. So Yoda in combat's great. Talking a little bit more about Padme, there's a scene in the arena where she's up on this pole and she gets
cut in the back.
scratched
Yeah.
by the Nexu, and she just makes a noise that never left my consciousness, man. That's always there. And as another little thing I liked, goofy thing, the death sticks guy. You want to buy some death sticks? You want some
I
death
like
sticks?
that,
That
yeah.
guy, and the way Obi-Wan just like changes his life
Yeah.
with a little like, get
He's
the hell
like,
out of here.
go
You
home
want to
and-
go home and rethink your life. I like seeing the beginning of that film, sort of the underbelly and the dark side of Coruscant, like that. Like that was kind of cool. I could have used a little more of that, in fact, but there was enough of there where I was.
You could have
it was
made
enticing.
Attack of the Clones very noir, like almost a
Wow.
crime style.
That-
you know what I mean? That would have
sure.
been really cool.
There's a setup a little bit like that for the first half. They're investigating,
Yeah.
you know. So, things that don't work for you in that film. I mean, you were definitely talking about the romance. Is that the main thing?
That's honestly it. Like, I mean, for the most part, yeah, that's the worst part of the whole fucking film is they spend so much time on Naboo, and then it's just the poor decision making of this like ultimate Jedi, and you're like, I get it that he's like, you know, he's almost like a recovering alcoholic. You know what I mean? Where he's always getting himself into trouble. There's always that like slide into the, you know, the descent into the dark side's right there. You know, it's like all these weird fucking feelings he has. And you're just like, what is wrong with you?
What's
like,
going on?
yeah, what is in your fucking head? And then Padme all of a sudden just kisses him on the balcony. And she's like, don't look at me like that. And he's like, why? She's like, cause it freaks me out. And then all of a sudden, like the next scene, she's like, I love the way you look at me now. And it's why did you
The
change
lighting
all
in
of a
that
sudden?
scene too, and she's like all dolled up, and
It's
it's like
just-
there's a fire. I don't know. It's
They're-
bizarre.
They're just like, George Lucas is like, all right, we need to have them fall in love. Like, okay, right now. Shit, I forgot to write anything. Here we
go.
go. Yeah.
Yep.
So they just like fall in love. There's
Yeah.
no like,
Obviously, he's into her the whole time. Finally, she kind of like succumbs to that. So I don't know if that's what's going on there. But I'm going to tell you some things I really don't like. I still can't really explain to you how the clone army came into existence. I've looked into it. I've learned it. And
they said.
What? Tell me. Explain it to me right now.
They said Darth Tyrannus, which is Count Dooku,
Okay.
came 10 years before
Yeah.
and started the Clone Wars. So I'm guessing he was the apprentice.
Then who's Sifo Dyas?
Sifo Dyas, I don't know. It's Sidious, Darth Sidious.
I think that's a rumor, but I think
No, it
he's
is, 'cause he's the
officially
one
been
that's-
changed in canon that he's somebody, actually. The Sifo Dyas
I thought he was, because that's why in Return of the, or what the fuck is the last movie? what's the last movie? Rise of Skywalker.
Uh-huh.
That's how all that, because I'm guessing those cloners were the ones that like helped him clone himself or whatever.
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
I don't know. I mean, I've looked into it, and then every time I've got to like think about it, and I'm like, well, wait, what's the timeline? So then Sidious
Sifo Dyas was a
Dooku?
Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was he was a real guy. In the movie, they say that.
Yeah.
He's like, because
So
Obi-Wan's
it's not
like,
Sidious. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Sifo
that's
Dyas
right,
is
yeah.
not Sidious.
because he says Obi-Wan's like, he died 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was like, so I'm guessing what happened was Darth Tyrannus, Count Dooku was like, as soon as what's-his-face died, what's his name that we just talked about? What the hell is that?
Sifo Dyas?
Yes. When he died, Count Dooku must have went to the planet and was like, hey, I'm why do I want to keep calling him Darth Sidious?
Sifo Dyas.
Sifo Dyas.
Yeah.
I'm Sifo Dyas. In my name, I make these clones.
All right. So do you know any of this for a fact, or are you just like, you're kind of connecting some dots?
Just 100% connecting dots.
Same here. And that's how I feel like I'm always doing. Every time I bring it up and I'm like, well, hold on.
I kind of like that though.
I guess it's ultra convenient. Like you got to have the army there. I just don't think that's very clean. So it is a complaint that I have about it, where it's just like, man, when I'm like trying to spit some lore at some people and then we get to that part, I tend to stumble right there. And I'm like, man, what the hell? How did that really go down?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a bizarre thing. So I don't like how Anakin's portrayed. He's whiny and he's pretty unlikable through the whole thing. Even as a late teenager. We've already talked about all the scenes on Naboo and the falling in love stuff. That sucks. A lot of the dialogue is pretty poor. There's the whole like
George Lucas' dialogue is poor.
I hate sand. That whole thing.
It's coarse, it's rough, and it gets everywhere.
Yeah, what was going on there? That seemed pretty unnecessary. And I think a big part of that too is a lot of the acting. The actors were suffering from having digitally created environments, right? Yeah. So it's like there's nothing actually here to interact with, or maybe a few things, but the background and like everything, it was all digitally created. Yeah. So it's kind of stiff, and no one's like, again, naturally in their environment. And I think a lot of that dialogue and the delivery of that dialogue is not great, but it probably could have been a lot better had the environment been a little bit better. So, and my final point on it is, hot take, Dooku's just not that cool as a villain.
His fucking name. Like, Kat and I, we watched this again like yesterday, and thinking about Count Dooku, you're just like, why Dooku?
Yeah, Count Doo-Doo?
Yeah, like, why any other fucking, you could have picked anything, it would have been cooler than Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds just fucking stupid. What was his Jedi name?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We should look into that, but it may have been the same thing. I think it was just Count Dooku, because they just like call him Count and stuff, or
What's up, Count?
What's up, Count?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
Chocula.
I think, I'll get more into Count Dooku later, but like, yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, he's fine in the movie, and then he fights Yoda, and he's just not a very, because it's Christopher Lee.
I love Christopher Lee as an actor, actually, but
he's Sauron.
So he kind of gets the pass, but just as a character, it's like, well, aren't they already fighting kind of like this old guy? And then now we got another, like throw somebody edgy and dangerous at me, Grievous. And he was just this, I don't know, you know.
He's a good power play. Like when he was doing the negotiations on Genoa, is it Genoa? Geonosis. When he's on Geonosis, he's like doing all the power play shit. Yeah. It worked fine. But then he like gets into battle, and you're like, dude, you are old.
Yeah, he's a little old. He's using the Force, but it's, I don't know. He doesn't do it for me.
That one really didn't bother me.
So, all right, cool. Fair enough. We got through a couple here. Yeah. Let's take a seltzer break, and then we're going to come back in just a second.
Okay. And we're back.
We are back. A nice little cheers over a model of an AT-AT. Star Wars miniatures model that I had. So.
It is beautiful.
Sweet. We're just going to hop right back into the next one. So going in order of the films, we're now on episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Bobby, where's this land in your order?
This one is a number 4.
Number 4.
This is high up there.
I knew that we were going to be off on these, and I like it. I like that we're not entirely on the same page here. I'm at number 6 on that one.
Okay.
I'm at number 6.
Get the fuck out of my house.
All right. Do you want to hear some things that are working for me on that one? So, all right. I do like how this is a much darker Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Pretty much darker than any of the films that we had seen up to this point. The execution.
I would say it's pretty close to the darkest.
It probably is. There's elements of some of the other ones maybe that are non-episodic. Rogue One kind of goes there a little bit, but for the most part, I agree. Let's just call this the darkest film. The execution of Order 66.
Yeah.
Anakin slaughtering younglings.
Yeah.
Decapitating Dooku.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all, when you say it, it's like,
the death of General Grievous burning from the inside out. Like, it's fucked up, man. A lot of death.
For sure.
Anakin's full descent into Darth Vader. Like, the death of Padme. I mean, it's messed up.
Yeah, when Anakin's crawling on the ground all burned up, screaming with just so much emotion.
Yeah.
Like, wow, very, very dark. So, and I appreciate that about this film. It probably needed to be. So it was the fall of Anakin and the rise of Vader right here. So I love the opening space combat scene.
Yes.
Whenever they're just twirling around between capital ships, lighting people up, they're all chummy. Everything's good. They're so overskilled compared to all these droid
they're coming
fighters
back from Clone Wars.
I know.
So
They're coming. They're like coming into Coruscant to like basically kind of rescue the planet a little bit and divert this invasion army that's coming in. So it's that part's a lot of fun. I love that. I love looking down and you can see the city planet, Coruscant down there. And it's all down there. It's
the death of Mace Windu too.
And it's there.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's there. I mean, did we see him die?
No, and I really, they dropped the fucking ball.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into the new stuff, but they dropped the ball big time on that. Like, bringing him back would have been so fucking cool. Even if he was like a Yoda character in like the new ones where they come to just talk to him.
Could have been something.
It could have been something. Yeah. That would have been so cool. Him like burnt up or something and like just a little something.
Just a little something. So I like seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan as peers in this film. I think
he's like full Jedi,
cool.
is he now, Anakin?
Yes. Yep. And they put him on the council, but they don't grant him the title of master. So we're going to talk about that in a second here too. But it's cool seeing the evolution of their relationship.
Yeah. He goes from father to brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in
enemy. You know, so like it keeps going, but man, it's General Grievous and his little collection of lightsabers. It's so cool, man. He's really cool. And I also think there's this element of foreshadowing of General Grievous to what Vader is going to become, sort of this like half man, half machine kind of thing. And it's right there to see like, oh, that's how he's going to get put back together again when he falls apart.
Grievous is probably my favorite Star Wars character.
I know you love Grievous.
Yeah, he is.
Grievous is cool.
Just so cool.
Super cool. When he's slinging 4 lightsabers around and, they're twirling around like cool. that. I wouldn't mess with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I like him a lot. And I like his need to be a Sith. You know what I mean? And he never will be.
Yeah.
It's like Anakin trying to be on the council. It's like he'll never be a master Jedi. But it's like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like you brought it to the end where, him like breaking down and stuff, probably the most emotional scene in Star Wars that brings me to tears almost every single time is when him and Obi-Wan are standing there and Padme is coming out of the ship and he was like killing Padme and shit. And like, he's like, you were supposed to be the chosen one. You're my brother. Yep. And he's just like, it's so awesome. Yeah. So awesome. And you just see Anakin just losing his shit. Oh, yeah. Like the thing is, he's not evil at that point. He's just going crazy.
Just on the brink.
Yeah, he's like, oh, man. He can't handle the pressure of what's happening.
I don't know. That is so post killing all those younglings too, though.
It is, but he's still in that like.
There's a little bit of him left.
Yeah. And then him like killing Padme. Yeah. I mean, that was I think the last.
She died of a broken heart.
That was dumb. That was probably the worst part of the movie, which I'm cool with. Like, if that's the worst part, I'm cool with that. But
so what you were saying, I mean, obviously something that worked, the battle between, if the best lightsaber battle isn't Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, then it's Anakin versus Obi-Wan and Revenge of the Sith. Those are the top 2 for me.
Really?
Right there. Yeah, those are the top 2.
Okay. And those are great. Yeah, top 3 for me.
Top 3. Okay, so I'll be curious to hear a little bit later what the next one's going to be for you, or what else is in your top 3. So that's definitely a pro in this. And I really like the way.
What if I said it was the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader one in New Hope?
I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna pack up.
Greatest.
Yeah, I'm gonna pack up.
Literally just like ding, ding, ding,
Bing,
ding, ding.
bing, bing, bing. I love the way they connect the two trilogies at the time. So, episode 1, 2, 3 into 4, 5, 6. So the prequel into the original trilogy, watching Yoda go into exile.
Yeah. And like fighting Palpatine.
And
then like losing.
For sure.
That was
for sure
brutal.
Watching Luke on Tatooine then.
Yeah.
You see Vader's transition and he's breaks out of that thing. It's a little like Duracell commercial or something.
I think it was totally
a Duracell commercial or something. But
we missed something.
What did we miss?
In Attack of the Clones, I forgot to say they do go back, or when he goes back to the Tusken Raiders, you see Lars and Beru. Aunt Beru and Uncle Lars. Yep. I thought that was really cool. Yep. I totally forgot about that till I watched it again.
Yep.
I was like, that was a really cool callback too.
You're absolutely right. Yep.
That's how you do it right for the callbacks, where they're quick and they don't have anything to do with the movie. You're just like, oh, like you're excited. You picked it up.
Yep. There's a lot of that. Seeing Jimmy Smits take Leia to Alderaan then. He's like, we always wanted the daughter. So they adopt her. So it's like, all right, they kind of wrapped it up pretty cleanly right there. It felt like, all right, I see how we get to where we're at now.
Yeah.
I liked that. All that worked for me. What else? You got anything else you want to talk about on that?
You knocked out a lot of the stuff. The dark side really, it's such a dark Star Wars film. Mm-hmm. And I love it for that. And that's, it should have been higher up in my list.
Yeah.
But I'll go into why it's not later.
Wait, as in you're gonna rank it better, or
it should have been in my top 3. That's
wow.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Revenge of the Sith is in my top 3.
That's cool.
But I'll tell you later why not.
All right. So I want to tell you some things that don't work for me.
Okay.
Anakin still comes off like a bitch most of the time.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want to like you, dude. Like, Vader is so cool, but you are so unlikable. Like 95% of the time. You know when I do like him? When I was talking about the opening space combat scene right too, there. Yeah. Like, that's good for me. Like, let me see more of that. You're there. Where are you? I see too much of this side from you. The opposite of that.
I think he's the best acting is in this one. Out of the two, I
completely agree. Yeah. Yep. I really detest the whole Palpatine arrest scene. Whenever Mace leads some other Jedi Council members in there, I think Kit Fisto's one of them.
Why do you hate that?
Because he just murks these Jedi Council members like it's nothing with like a flick of the wrist, and it's like these guys could have put that could have been such a good fight right there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that was a missed opportunity in my mind to have a pretty cool fight, and I think it was limited because of the actors. Yeah. And I think they wanted to use him and less special effects in that, which I can respect.
I was thinking time.
The sentiment of that, but maybe, some kind of production issue there.
Because there's still a lot happens in that scene.
A lot happens in the scene, but you're right. But a lot of it's dialogue driven and, the moments of blasting the lightning and fighting it off.
And you see him like transform.
Yeah. And like, okay, that's fine, but I love Kit Fisto. He's so cool. And he just gets like, and you're done. And you're dead to us now. And it's just like...
That's what they did with a lot of the Clone Wars stuff. Like, when did the Clone Wars come out? After?
Which Clone Wars are you talking about specifically?
The TV show.
The TV show?
Animated show, yeah.
Yeah, that came out after.
Okay, I was going to say, so...
2008, maybe?
Okay, because I never watched it.
It's really good.
I know, and really I watched... I lied. I watched probably like the first season, And I didn't realize there's fucking 7 seasons of that shit.
Oh, yeah.
There's a huge amount of seasons. Yeah. And, it is very disappointing to see what they... Because Kit Fisto and all that shit, like, he's in Clone Wars. So it's like, all of a sudden he's gone, and you're like, wait. And I thought Clone Wars came between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
It does.
No, I'm saying, like, time-wise, like real-life time-wise. I thought they made it.
I see. Okay.
And I thought that was the bridge between to give you... Because I didn't remember.
Yep.
And going back now, I'm like, oh, that fucking... So they just wrote that shit in there just to be like... Because these Jedis didn't mean shit in the third one.
I'm so glad that they had the Clone Wars to fill in all of the rich characters that are there and to give me their stories. It's really cool. But talking more about the Jedi Council also, I just... I don't like the writing as far as they come off really foolish to me in this. Like their whole handling of Anakin.
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
remember the whole time they're saying the dark side has clouded their vision.
great. Fucking great. You got 12 of the most powerful Jedi that have ever lived. You got Yoda.
Yeah.
And it's like no one has any foresight. You don't have some guy. Honestly, I feel like you could have just brought in a guy like Han Solo who's just street smart and been like, yeah, well, it's fucking that guy over there. And, oh, yeah, you know, like, and the way that Mace Windu, whenever Anakin's like, well, you know, it's Palpatine is actually doing all of this. He's like, Palpatine's a Sith Lord? Are you sure? Like, it's like he never, ever thought that he could have been pulling any of these strings.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
that was this moment that was supposed to be the whole, like, I am your father. You know what I mean? Like, that situation. Sure, yeah, and I was actually talking to my dad about this before we did this, and he was saying the same thing. He's like, it was so... You saw it fucking coming, like, a mile away. Like, obviously Palpatine is the Emperor. Like, you just... go like this, and you're like, oh, there he is. You're like, and then it's seriously, it's like Mace Windu's a baby, and he pulls away. He's like, where'd he go? Yeah. And then he goes like this. He's like, there he is. And you're like, come on, man. Like, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and I get what they're doing. They're trying to do the whole like, you know, like
I see what reveal. They're trying to do,
yeah.
And that's why I think it was mishandled, and it's a critique of mine for it. So.
Absolutely.
And kind of the same thing. I'll harp on the same point kind of through these 3 films. There's just really still a lack of practical effects. There's just so much CGI, and that's kind of where I draw the line of what makes like a good Star Wars film to a great Star Wars film. Is really heavy practical effects and costumes.
See, that's the tough part, man. Like if, well, we'll talk about it after this, but in the next one we'll talk about it.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done with Revenge of the...
It's my favorite.
So
it's my favorite Star Wars movie. It's not ranked number 1 for other reasons, but...
So it's your favorite, but you're putting it as number 4 on your list.
Yeah.
All right.
I know it's weird, but it's like it's like your favorite kid. You know, you got one. They're all your kids. You love them all, but you got your favorite one.
Yep. All right. Fair enough.
Cool. All right. New Hope.
New Hope. So
what are you
episode
thinking?
4, New Hope. This is my number 2 overall.
It's my number 3.
Feels good. Feels good. Things that worked for me.
I really don't have much to say about this, by the way.
I got a lot of pros and not a ton of cons on this one. Yeah, that's kind of how
everybody knows the movie.
Go. Yep. All the costumes, the built sets, the practical effects, all of that.
Let me say this before I forget it real quick.
Yeah.
So this is what I was going to say. Okay. So now you said you like Star Wars movies that have the practical effects and the CGI mix, right?
Correct.
Now you saw George Lucas at his full power in those prequels.
I know.
So that means going back, the original 3 wouldn't be what they were if he had a chance to change them, which he did sort of with the special editions. But he would have taken out all those practical effects to go to CGI. So it's like...
Yep. That's how he wanted to tell the story, and that is a little bit alarming. I agree. That
now it doesn't. Now it's okay. Whatever. Fuck it now.
He couldn't kind of get out of his own way sometimes, and some of the remastered stuff, the re-release, the original
trilogy. You just need somebody to wrangle him in.
A little bit, like, yeah. You know, maybe he knows that now. I don't know. Probably not. But I
don't think he's going to be that.
It was a product of the time.
Yeah,
and that's
really the thing. Cool. Is they broke ground with New Hope. They for sure. Practical special effects have never been that good. Like the ping pong table with the fucking firecrackers and shit,
and the miniatures that they had for the ships. Yeah,
hand drawn stormtroopers in fucking on glass so they could like double seal it. Like it's insane the special effects they did for that movie with such a limited budget, thinking that this was it. This was the only movie that he was going to make, and it barely get by because of all the fucking production fiasco. And it actually got made, and then they're like, oh yeah, this is like one of the greatest films of all time.
Turns out,
what?
Yep.
Half-assed this fucking thing.
Lightning in a bottle there, and
and his wife edited. She's an Oscar-winning editor, so
there you go.
You can thank her for the original trilogies. I think
so. The soundtrack,
phenomenal.
The themes of Star Wars are a part of social consciousness now. Yeah. It's like we all know them, and that's incredible. And it all started there.
The crawling.
Great point. You know what? I didn't bring that up in any of them. That's such a cool choice that they put right there. Yeah, so iconic.
Yeah, the yellow on black. I love it.
Yeah, there's this lovable.
Like it just hits you.
Bam.
Yeah,
it's right there. the lovable campiness
Yeah.
of these films, of
Yeah.
this film specifically, but it's there, and it's really thick in this one, and it does a lot for me.
Yeah.
The chemistry of the cast in this film,
They were like brothers and sisters.
and it comes off that way. I mean, the chemistry you see with Luke and Leia, and Han and Luke, and Han and Chewie, like it's so good. The droids, like it doesn't get any better than that. Like the on-screen chemistry is more or less flawless.
It started the whole thing. The whole fucking. We wouldn't have any of this to bitch about if it wasn't for this one. You know,
you're right. Yeah, it set the bar for sure. So I really like how you're learning about the Force and kind of the greater universe through the eyes of Luke. As a member of the audience, you're just coming in, you're like, I don't know anything about any of this shit. Yep. And you just start learning it as he's learning it. It's awesome. That's really cool. You kind of like attach yourself to Luke to go through his journey whenever this is happening. And that's pretty cool to me. I love how menacing that Vader is portrayed in this film.
Yeah, he kills a guy like right away, which chokes him to death. Like he breaks his trachea and like just kills him, and you're like,
tosses him aside. He's just trash.
I think my favorite,
like, you work for me, but I don't care, man.
My favorite part is the dude in the suit thought he was the voice of Star Wars of Vader, and he's like, not like I think it was like a German accent or some shit like that. He's like, I am your father, and it's like totally not gonna fucking make it. He was pissed about it, and like, I love that. I love the little stuff.
That's awesome.
Leaving,
so cool.
Was it Troy Baker? What's the Kenny Baker?
Leaving
Kenny Baker
R2?
in R2 during like the hot fucking sun, and he almost died in there. Like, just a cool little, those little things.
Is that on purpose, or they just forget about him?
They forgot about him.
They're just like,
a lot of the time.
That's not a real robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Hi, excuse me, lads.
I have time bandits to do.
Yep. And I love the aesthetic that they give the stormtroopers. They're all in that sleek white uniform. I mean,
the noises, honestly, the clicking, clacking of the plastic.
Yes.
I love that fucking sound. Yes. Love that sound.
Great
and
point.
Princess Leia's hot, dude. She's super hot in there.
Leia's a hottie.
George Lucas didn't believe in bras in space. Yeah. So that's why she wasn't allowed to wear a bra.
They wouldn't exist in space.
Apparently not.
I've heard maybe like bifocals wouldn't exist in space too. That he made some argument about that. So I
it's
never
so dumb.
See anybody wearing glasses.
There's fucking gravity on everything that they're in. Like, they're never in.
If
not
we're going
gravity.
through light speed, you wouldn't need glasses though. They fixed them. I don't know what the argument was there. I just remember hearing that. So I could probably keep going on and on, but it's a fantastic film. And the list of things that don't work for me are so small. I really just had to.
Almost the things that don't work are like lovable about it. You know what I mean?
In a way.
The stupid things like the Tusken Raider is like, like it's the reverse part of it.
Yeah.
Like, like stupid shit. The fuck ups in it are like,
sure.
I love it.
Yep. I think probably the biggest gripe would be the underwhelming fight scene between Obi-Wan and Vader.
100%.
And thank you, fans of Star Wars that have the time and energy to remaster that.
Was it good?
We're going to watch it later.
Okay.
Let's have like 7 more beers and then let's watch it. And then let's
Masturbate
recreate it. Let's recreate it.
With our wieners.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right, cool. So that's A New Hope. I put it at number 2. What'd you say, 3?
I said a 3.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to do we want to cut out there and come back in a second, or?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right. Be right. Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah. We're right back.
All right. You ready to go?
I'm ready. The big boy.
Cool. So we're back in. I got a good feeling about this one. Yeah. Episode 5, Mr. Bathrobes. Yeah. Empire Strikes Back. I'm gonna go out on a limb. And I'm going to guess this is your number 1.
Nope.
Oh, what?
Number 8. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's not number 1.
My head just exploded. Can you guess what number it is on mine?
I'm guessing number 1.
It was also number 1 on my list.
I really didn't want to be that guy and be like, obviously it's number 1, but you can't not.
Dude.
It's the greatest Star Wars film.
Dude, I don't want to not be that guy, It's so contrarian. It's just obviously the best film in my opinion.
Yeah.
Cool. What's working for you in this film? How long can this list be?
I mean, it's from start to finish. You have the Hoth battle, but right before that, you have him cutting into a tauntaun. You see the cave monster, the wampum, is it? Yeah,
Wampa. Yep.
the wampa, and then you know like it goes on and on. You know the battles in space. You have Luke's slow descent, another descent into the dark side, and like. His hand getting cut off, Cloud City, like Luke, that's not Luke, I'm your father. It's something about I am your father. That's like
that is a Mandela effect.
That's the other
right
Mandela
there.
effect we were talking about.
Yeah. I wanted to bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, just the whole shebang is great.
Yeah.
And like them getting Luke from Cloud City, and like that's the one where the big they fly into the mouth, isn't it?
They're going through the asteroids and the huge asteroid slug thing.
It's so good. All of it. All of it is good.
Yeah. Everything about this film is just so damn Star Warsy. Yeah. It's like it embodies that feeling of Star Wars and being immersed in that world more than any of the other films.
Not directed by George Lucas.
Not directed by George Lucas.
The most Star Warsy movie is not directed by George Lucas.
That's funny, but it's the truth. It has all the same pros that I said, all the things that worked for me about A New Hope.
Yeah.
It's that and then some.
Oh, yeah.
In this film.
100%.
I could repeat all of those. I'm going to try and find some other things. I got plenty to say.
Cool creatures.
Like amazing creatures.
The world is so large in this one. It's not just Tatooine going to the Death Star.
Right.
It's like it's a huge universe. Yep. Like you're seeing the whole galaxy.
The way the acts are broken up into this film. The first act on Hoth, it's probably my favorite portion of any film in history that I've ever seen. I love that so much, man. Yeah. Flying around the snow speeders.
Yeah.
The AT-ATs.
Yeah.
Boom. You know?
Yeah.
The tauntauns, the slicing them open. Like,
what about the little black droids that like crash?
The probe droids. They're so cool.
So cool.
On the DVD, that's I've fallen asleep to that movie so many times.
Oh my God.
And then
totally
it goes to the DVD play
the menu.
And it's that thing crashing down. It's like, I'm going to go check this out.
Yeah.
You know? It's so good, man. Mm-hmm. The back to tanks. It's so cool seeing Luke floating around the back to tank.
In a diaper.
In a diaper. Luke and Leia's kiss and Han's reaction.
The hottest kiss in all movies.
It's so hot, dude. Mm-hmm. It's so hot. How they didn't get an R rating for that.
I mean,
I don't know.
Luke was hard as a rock.
I love the way that Chewie rips a little on Han or he laughs at him.
Yeah.
And then it's all that, gang, crew, chemistry that's working at its finest in that little like health bay or medical bay that they're in right there. I love that.
Scruffy looking nerf herder.
Scruffy looking nerf herder. A hard N. Man. This is where we see Yoda. Not in the first act of the film, but in Empire Strikes Back, we're introduced to Yoda.
The cave, the Darth Vader cave.
The Vader cave. That's pretty crazy. And you want to talk about foreshadowing, it's kind of the dangers of the dark side right there. It's like Luke's kind of confronting himself and the dark side that exists within him. And it's a little bit of a mind fuck right there. In that. And you're like, he cut Vader. What's Vader doing here? And he beat him. And that's it. The mask blew up and that's his face in the mask. What the hell's going on? I mean, were they trying to tell us even right then too that, maybe he's related to him right there? So, something else super cool. The bounty hunters. We get a glimpse of the bounty hunters on Vader's on his ship. I believe they're on his Star Destroyer. The no disintegrations. We see Boba Fett. He's in action in this film.
Cloud City.
In Cloud City, we're introduced to Lando Calrissian. Hello.
I love Lando.
He's fantastic, man. It's what a great addition to the squad right there. Like Lando's awesome. And one of my favorite just single moments, possibly the coolest thing anyone has ever said. Whenever Han.
Let me get. Okay, I was gonna say
Is that what it was? Are we gonna say?
I love you.
I love you.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was ad-libbed.
Ad-libbed.
That's the
dude.
best part.
Harrison Ford, you bamf.
Dude, yeah. I mean, come on.
That was so cool.
Yeah. And
That-
honestly, yeah, you can't get cooler than that.
You can't get any cooler than that,
Yeah,
dude. And that
'cause Leia was
solidifies
just
him
like-
as the coolest.
Yeah.
She
was like,
her
oh my
rock.
God.
Man. Whoo, get a mop.
That was
Dude. Yep. I love that moment. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
I agree.
Huge reveal in this film.
Yeah.
It's whenever we find that Vader is Luke's father. And that
pretty much sets it to the highest bar you can go, because you can't top that reveal.
you can't top it.
In any of them, they never did.
They never did. And so we learned a couple things there in that moment, and they kept going with it. Lineage matters.
Yeah.
In Star Wars.
100%.
Like how people are related to who and whatnot.
It's
it
like heart
matters
disease.
a lot.
If
And
you got heart disease in your family,
yeah.
the dark side runs in Luke's family.
And they experimented with it in pretty much every film after that.
And it never got
And
it right.
it never hit the way that hit.
Look at
That was the perfect reveal.
yeah, look at the last three. The whole time you're like, what is Rey's lineage?
Yeah.
What is she? Who is she?
Doesn't matter. Oh, it matters. It's disappointing. All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to
yeah,
that.
yep.
What didn't work for you in this film?
These are hard because I've seen these movies so many times,
Yep.
over and over and over, that it's like I said, the if there is anything bad to it,
Yeah.
it's not bad to me anymore. So I'm really biased at this point.
There's a snake at the swamp in on Dagobah, and I don't like snakes very much.
That really
and that's
affected
all
you.
I got.
Nice.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
This movie is like a snake away from perfection. That
It's
close,
so
man.
good.
Yeah. They could have used a Doberman in there too. Maybe, so.
So this is your number one.
That's my number one, baby. All right.
right.
Yeah. Both. Wow. We know where that's going to fall
Yeah,
on the list.
That's
but,
the best.
Yep.
All right, Return of the Jedi. What's your number?
All right. So Return of the Jedi gets my number 3 overall ranking.
Oh, yeah. It's my number 5.
Yep. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Let me mark that down here. A little
You know why it's my number 5?
frowny face.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me.
Make that a furry frowny face.
Ooh, it's the Ewoks, ain't it?
Yeah, man. It's the Jar Jars of the prequels. You know what I mean?
I disagree, but I'd like for you to go ahead and make your case.
It's just I get what they were doing. They needed to have that like comedic relief and like the dorky, native, teddy bears. I don't know why the fuck they're teddy bears, but whatever. They're like this horrible tribe that's about to kill and eat these people, and then all of a sudden it turns out, oh no, they're not. They're just these lovable, cute Ewoks, and you're like, come on, we just went from Empire to this, like. Come on. Why is Leia's hair braided and C-3PO's in a fucking throne? And I can get all past all that shit, but it's just the fact of the Ewoks were just literally put in there for merchandising. I mean, at that point, George Lucas is like, all right, how can I make more money on this? He got the rights to merchandising. He gave the rest of the shit to the studios. He's like, I just want merchandising. I don't know if it was in these last couple movies, but I mean, that's his whole spiel. That's his thing. How can he make
That's how
money?
he built his empire.
Exactly, yeah.
that money.
I mean, I don't blame him one bit.
Yeah.
But that was, I feel, a big part of that decision of Ewoks was teddy bears for kids. Like, let's sell that shit,
I would have bought all of them. I would have bought
I have
every
an
single
Ewok coming
one.
from Louisiana right now for
Wow.
Heidi. It's one of the original teddy, like Ewok teddy bears. They
That's
have,
awesome.
yeah, Kat's mom has one. She sent it to us. So.
How are they not selling those again? I definitely would buy one. I mean, it's a fair point. I like the Ewoks. I like what they bring to the table there. I like the whole bit where they're worshiping C-3PO as this like
See, like I said, I can get past that.
gold
Yeah.
god. Gold god. You're right, they're gonna eat them, but they're a tribe. If anything, I fault the stormtroopers training for just being able to get blown out by the guerrilla style warfare.
There's
of
no guerrilla style warfare.
battle-hardened Ewok. All right,
Yeah.
these are
I like the scenarios.
tried warriors.
My favorite scenarios is where they have the two logs tied up in the middle of a forest.
Yeah.
They have two logs tied up And then it just happens to have a chicken walker walk through there for it to crush him.
They had set the trap and they ambushed him and they led him down a certain path. Remember when they're like, they got a rope around it and it's like dragging like 5 Ewoks behind it? How sad is it though whenever you see a couple of those guys get blasted?
Sad. It's very sad.
They're like, oh.
And like the mama's like holding their dead baby and you're just like, Jesus Christ, this turned dark. Turned dark real quick.
When you say that. Wow.
But
cool. Well,
yeah.
So that's your big gripe about it. Let's talk about what's working for you in that film.
Favorite part of the movie, honestly, like a lot. It's funny because Return is probably my least watched Star Wars movie.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, obviously besides the new ones, but that one's probably my least watched one. I never really got into it. One of my favorite parts, I always like the ending, like Luke fighting at the Emperor. Where did the Emperor go when he fell down that hole? He died, right? Because guess what the fuck happened? The Death Star blew up.
See him die in Star Wars.
The Death Star literally blew up.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I don't know. So anyway.
Dead and gone, baby. Yeah. Dead and gone. Keep him buried.
But, and Darth, like, bringing the balance back to the Force. Like, that was the whole thing, and he did it, and it was super cool. And, like, that's another pullback to the prequels where it's like, he is the chosen one. He is the one to vanquish the dark side.
His redemption meant his arc was completed right there.
Yep. And they didn't say when. They didn't say when he was going to fucking triumph over the dark.
How?
He just had to.
How it was going to happen. He did it, though.
Very cool.
You're right.
Very cool.
What
do you think?
For me, I've watched a lot. This was actually the first Star Wars film I ever saw.
Okay. That's why you like the Ewoks.
I do. I like the Ewoks. The whole Jabba's palace.
I forgot about that. That's really awesome. The Rancor
side of the scum and villainy of Star Wars is real nice in this film. I love that.
What am I going to say? Can you guess what I'm going to say about Jabba's palace? What I don't like about it? The George Lucas makeover.
Oh,
that is
the
whole worst.
The music,
the
or whenever the
and she's like, what? And like singing in the camera. That is the worst thing he could have done for that film.
Have you seen The Family Guy where they make fun of that? And it's
all
like
the Family Guy stuff.
It's like, hey guys, what are you doing here? It's so out of place.
So
it was well done.
It destroyed that whole fucking. The Rancor was so scary and cool as a kid, and like he kills it, and the fat man comes in and crying and shit. It's so good, and then they. Bring Han back out of the carbonite, and you're just like, whoa, it's Leia and Lando.
Yeah, Leia's that bounty hunter, like Boosh or Bausch or however you say it.
Yeah, like that.
The cool balls on that chick to go in there with a thermal detonator, and Jabba's just like, this is my kind of scum right here.
My kind of suck fest.
Like, how cool is that? You're like, oh wow, I love that.
And then Leia in her
slave Leia. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it.
And it's like it goes down in some of the most used cosplay. I feel like it's
got to be.
It's the most memorable part of Return is
if
Leia.
Anyone ever listening to this wants to get us a gift, we're looking for a slave Leia cardboard cutout that we could put.
Oh, I thought you meant I'd be Jabba, you'd be slave Leia.
Wow. There's a hot cosplay.
That's OnlyFans right there.
Yeah, that'll be $100 paywall to get to that right there. I'd do it. Fuck yeah. I love the whole
her killing Jabba.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And they've got Lando as part of it. And whenever they kind of wrap up that first act, and it's like the gang's back together, guys. Here we go. What's the next adventure? I like that there.
I love
because
that.
it just transitions really well from Empire. And that's a lot of fun. I like that they go back to Tatooine, and I like seeing Jabba's palace.
Oh yeah.
That
Sarlacc
really
Pit was awesome.
So, for sure.
I didn't like Boba dying.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how big Boba was until after all that. So it didn't really affect me until
I don't know if anyone did. You know, I don't know if they knew what they were doing when they did that. But he kind of got some poor treatment as far as his exit goes in the expanded universe that Disney poodooed on. He lived through that. but
which he could have. I mean, totally could.
Sure, he could have. Yeah. It's kind of a fun, dark story. I read that with my kids, how he got out of there, and like Dengar came down there and helped him out.
What book is it?
Tales from Jabba's Palace.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
Yeah.
There's some fucked up shit in there, isn't there?
It's weird.
Is it a book or a graphic novel?
It's a book. It's a book. Yeah, I mean, they weren't writing it for kids in mind, really. Yeah. Whenever they did it, fun read. If anyone ever gets a chance to check it out,
can I borrow it?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
You know what?
What?
Sad story. I felt pretty wronged by Disney and how things were going with Star Wars, and I pretty much traded in all of my Star Wars novels, save maybe a couple, right after Episode 9.
No.
Spoiler alert for later. I don't like those movies very much.
You traded in everything?
I have like a couple. There were like one or two that were in Leo's bedroom still that I still have.
You just got pissed or what?
Like, I'm done. I've put so much time and energy, and this is what I'm getting.
Where'd you put them? Where'd you give them to?
Went to Half Price Books.
You know what they do to books that don't sell?
I don't know. They probably fucking
right in the trash can.
Punch a hole in it and have sex with it.
You should have asked me. I would have taken them.
I just had to get rid of them. I didn't want to see them. I didn't want to see them, dude. I was hurt.
Yeah.
You can go right back to Half Price Books and buy all those books. Dollar a piece right now. You know what I mean? There's so many of them, too. It was funny because I did the same thing with Game of Thrones.
Well, yeah.
Whenever that was done, and I went in there.
You read a book once, you're not reading that shit again.
We're not accepting these books because everyone was like done
with
Game of Thrones. You couldn't give them to the used bookstore.
No way.
I was like,
I never read them.
I felt a little bit of satisfaction in knowing. I was like,
the thing is, it's not George R. R. Martin that did that, though.
It's not even his fault, dude.
So it's like you're fucking him.
He made his money. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. All right, cool. Well, are you good on that one?
Yeah, I guess the final things I did want to say that don't really work for me. I feel like the second act of that film's a little slow. It's like Luke goes back to Dagobah and kind of slowly watches Yoda die and like kind of gets some.
Like, what was the point of that? To see Yoda die?
Throw him a bone about his sister. There's another. That kind of thing. I guess the rest of the squad, they're kind of like teaming up with the rebels, and there's just like a little bit of a lull in the middle, coming off that high of like. Yeah. Woohoo, just like destroy the sail barge and we're getting out of here. That's a fun moment. And it just kind of has this like 20-minute, like, don't really know how to feel right now kind of thing. But that, and then I thought it was just a little silly maybe in the writing process that, like, you're telling me they're just rebuilding the same Death Star that we blew up 6 years ago?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. All right.
Yeah.
All right. That doesn't quite work for me.
They blew that fucking thing up like to smithereens.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like a year later, they have it almost fully constructed again.
Guys, I have a great plan. Here's what we're going to do. That last thing they blew up? Well, we're going to just start building it again. We got everybody here. Everybody already knows how to build it that didn't die in the last one. I was going to say
everyone died.
That didn't, Anyone that was off-world,
there was like a planet.
Vessel.
There was like a planet worth of like empire, the dead.
Yeah. Cool. Keep going. Where are we at?
Let's pause.
Pass. Cool. Let's get another seltzer.
All right.
Here we go. Episode 7. Yeah. The Force Awakens. Hit me with your number, Bobby.
2.
4.
Okay.
Yep.
This is
interesting. Yeah. It's higher than I thought, but I think you thought I was about to like just.
I thought you were gonna bomb it. Yeah.
Bomb it. Yeah.
But I know you're worst. So it's like
it's starting to line up here a little bit. But okay, what's working for you in The Force Awakens?
So the reason why I put Force Awakens at number 2 spot is because it brought me back to Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Like it's so funny because when the trilogy came out, the original trilogy, I wasn't alive yet, but I got to watch it after with my dad and everything, and I loved it. Yeah. I was almost force-fed it for a while as a child. Yep. But it wasn't like I refused it. I wanted it, kept it going. My dad force-fed me some stuff, and I didn't refuse it. Nope. But yeah, it was great. It was great trilogy. And then Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith came out, and I was a kid. We were in 8th grade. And it was 8th, 10th, and then
the year after high school.
Yeah. So it was like, they came out pretty quick after each other, and it was like they were review bombed. Before the internet really was the internet at that time, people were shitting on these movies so hard, and I loved them. And I think a little bit of that is, sort of reflecting back onto me, where I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe these movies aren't as good as I thought. I was just a kid and all this shit. And that was the last of the Star Wars movies. That was it for us.
Yeah.
That was it. Everybody hated them. I started hating them too because of that, because everyone else did. And then they were done. And then all of a sudden it was like, guess fucking what? Star Wars is coming back.
The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens?
Hit me with your number. Where are we at?
2.
Wow.
Number 2. Yeah. What about you?
4.
All right.
Not as much variance as I thought maybe was going to be there. But
so you went in order? Did you go New Hope, Empire, Return, and then Force Awakens? 1, 2, 3, 4? Or no, Attack was 4, wasn't it for you? No.
It was Empire.
What was your 4th?
Then New Hope. This is 4. Force Awakens is 4.
I'm sorry, 3 I meant.
Return.
Okay, yeah. Yep. So the original trilogy was your top 3, and then Force Awakens was number 4. Okay.
Yep, get it into that.
Yeah, so this one for me, when the original trilogy came out, I wasn't alive for it, but I was force-fed things by my dad. And I didn't refuse it, and I loved it.
Go on.
No, I was, my dad loved Star Wars, so he was just like, you're going to too. Yep. And I did, and then we went to the theaters.
As you'll do with your children.
So. Oh, yeah, 100%. And then we went to the theaters and saw the prequels, and they were, when I was a kid, I loved them. I loved them all the way up until the new one, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith came out, and I loved them all. And then all of a sudden it was like the public spoke together, and they were like, hey, we fucking hate these movies, so we're going to shit all over them because of Jar Jar Binks. And you're like, oh man, the prequels are so much more than just Jar Jar Binks. But everybody thinks, as soon as they think prequels, they're like immediately Jar Jar Binks. Well, that was it. That was it for us. Star Wars fans, that was the last of it. The shitty prequels went down in fucking flames. And then it was like, guess what?
I can only imagine the excitement level.
Oh my God.
Mine was very high.
So I remember the night that we heard that there was movies coming out, and then there was tickets coming out like a couple weeks later or some shit like that. And my wife bought us all tickets to go see that shit. And it was like, it was awesome. It was amazing. It was great. And then the movie came out. We saw the movie. I loved it. Yep. I loved it. It brought all the nostalgia back of the originals and a little bit of the prequels. It felt like all the good of everything. And then it was like, you knew it was fan service. The whole movie was going to be fan service. And it was great. There was a lot of similarities to the other movies, which is fine. It brought me back into Star Wars because it was fucking how many years went by? 10 years went by without Star Wars movies? Bring me back, baby. Bring me back. Yep. And I did. And it was great. What are you thinking?
So all of that hype, all of that excitement, and going into this, you're like, this is going to be in the right hands with Disney. It's going to give the franchise proper treatment. I left more than satisfied.
Yeah.
I loved the movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. You get these cool new characters. Yeah. Specifically, I loved Poe.
He's the best of the new series.
Finn is great.
Yeah.
Kylo, I liked quite a bit too, man. All of these characters are working for me really well. And it's nostalgia done right. You were talking about fan service. There's plenty of it.
Yeah. Phasma.
Maz. I actually don't care about Phasma.
I love Phasma.
Doesn't Snoke. Do it. That's okay.
I love Snoke.
Wow. We'll get to Snoke.
I love Snoke.
Gross. And it has some of the most fun, I'm going to use this term again, Star Wars-y moments, man.
Yeah.
Whenever they get in the Millennium Falcon, I say when it's Rey and Finn and the Millennium Falcon, and they have that little skirmish with a couple, and BB-8, and they have a skirmish with a couple of ties, and they make it through, and they're just like, woo! Yeah.
And it's almost a shot-for-shot remake of
I'm doing that in the theater, dude. I'm just like, yes, like, yeah, that was awesome. Like, I'm having such a good time. Like, what a roller coaster right here.
Great.
That was great. And it has
all the practical effects in there
numerous
too.
moments. For sure, they had the right amount of practical effects with that. The sets were great. Like everything looked really good. I love the way that they brought Solo back into this film. The way he's portrayed, and you're like, oh, that's Han Solo. Like you don't question that for a second. You know,
he's an old smuggler.
He's old. He's still smuggling. Yep. He's estranged from his wife.
Yeah.
He's out there on the open space lanes.
Pirates getting him.
Dude, pirate. Yeah, he's just swindling everybody, which I loved. The pirates that come in on the crew, the Asian looking guys that come in, is from The Raid, which is one of my favorite action movies of all time. Maybe a little underused in that moment, but just the fact that they brought him in right there, I was like, oh, yes, this is cool, man. I'm having so much fun. What a fun theater experience that was. The way they handled his death and showed that.
I loved it.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
It just, my stomach fell out, dude. It was hard, man. Yeah. That was a very emotional death scene right there of a beloved character, my favorite Star Wars character.
When Kylo was like basically thanking him for the decision he's about to make, you're just like, oh, that's so cool. You know, like,
that was great,
so
man.
Good, man. That was such good dialogue. Just like, thank you for letting me decide. And you're just like, whoosh, and you're just like, oh. And Chewie,
when he rages, I got that right here. And you see him rage. You see that Wookiee rage.
You finally see. I think he rips arms off.
And what you see in the theatrical version versus the slightly longer director's cut or whatever. Yeah, he's ripping arms off, or it's a deleted scene or something. Yeah. Like he just goes ham. Like I love it. I love it. I'd like to think that's what Quentin would do for me in a situation like that. I see a lot of myself in Han Solo. I see a lot of Quentin and Chewbacca, or vice versa. So
you see a lot of yourself inside your dog.
Yeah, eyes closed. I like the way that it presented a lot of interesting questions. We were talking about, Rey's parents. Is Finn Force sensitive? At the end of that film, you don't know. You're kind of like, well, what the hell is that about?
I love the whole Maz and Rey set up there with the lightsaber.
For sure. What was Kylo's fall from grace? How did that happen? We don't know that at that point in time. That's interesting stuff, in my opinion. So it kind of did this Lost thing.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams throws a lot of spicy questions, fun things that are just leaving us there that, like, oh man, this could go down
so much fan theory.
So much fan theory.
Yeah.
I've never fan theoried out so hard in my life than between episode 7 and episode
so 8. Good.
And what a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah.
Too. When you finally see Luke Skywalker and Rey's just holding that lightsaber there, and you're just like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
And it just ends,
So good.
Like, I gotta wait 2 years. No, it was great, man. Yeah. It was really, really good. And one other thing I'd like to say that really worked for me in this film is the jokes hit.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yep.
In particular, whenever Poe is making jokes, or just like he's got that same kind.
Harrison.
It's that
the Harrison Ford-esque.
100%.
He is the new Han Solo, I felt like.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole exchange with him and Kylo, kind of towards the beginning. How's this work? You talk, I talk.
Yep, I love that.
Like how cool is that? So he was awesome.
So you bring up like the feel good movie shots and like Poe Dameron and stuff. One of my favorite scenes is when he's like flying around and they're at Maz Kanata's place and it's going down, and he's just like, he comes in and he's just like, and just systematically wiping out the Empire in the sky.
Oh yeah.
And they're just like, whoa, just like shouting like,
who's that pilot?
So cool, man. Poe is the fucking man in that shit.
Oh yeah.
So good.
You just see him coming over the water.
Oh.
That squadron.
And that's all he wants.
ties
He
that
just
he's
wants to
at.
fucking kill
Oh, dude.
stormtroopers. I love
He's
it.
just a trigger happy. What's Holdo call him? I can't. Fly boy
Yeah.
or something. We'll get there.
That's another thing that was really cool is you saw the new the shock troopers.
The shock troopers.
Shock troopers were really cool, man.
Shock troopers. What? Hey, baby.
Very cool.
Yep. Cool. There's probably some things I'm missing, but
me too.
I really like that film a lot. Obviously, you do too. What's not working for you in this film?
So there's certain things like you were bringing up. There's a lot of loose ends, and you knew. Oh, I'm sorry. The big thing that didn't work for me was what did they call it? It's not the Death Star. What did they call it this time? It was
how they're playing it.
The Star Killer.
Star Killer.
Yeah,
base.
Star Killer base. Dude, come on. Like, you've had 10 years to write a script for the bad guys.
Yep.
I mean, why are you giving them another Death Star? You know what I mean? Like, why another Death Star? Like, they can't come up with something fucking better. Don't get me wrong. This is a way cooler Death Star. Hux is one of my favorite Star Wars characters. He's so good. He's like the perfect comedic relief and the perfect like bad guy.
Yeah.
Like he's an all around great character. And the whole like, I'm sorry, I'm going back to things that I do like. The whole like Nazism aspect of the Empire.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. Like you felt like you were in like Nazi Germany when the Empire's standing up there and they're like, everything's black and red and they're all in uniform and shit. It really made you feel like these are the bad guys. They're not in white. They're not like, this is like some fucked up shit right here. These guys are like alt-right, like hardcore dudes. And it felt right. It felt, these are the enemies. Those are the good guys. They're coming in to kill the Star Killer base. I loved it. Loved it.
You're kind of helping me make my point with what you just said because you kept referring to them as the Empire.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're not. They're what the fuck are they called?
New Order.
The New Order. Yeah.
Yep. Let's just call things what they are.
They're the
right?
Empire, right?
They're the Empire, the Resistance. They're the rebels.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of just like we're still playing. You know, like
that's the shit that
they cut out. We're still playing. It's the same good guy,
funny.
bad guy
They're like,
scenario.
let's give them a Death Star, but not call them the rebels.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, why? Why would you do that? Like, why is that the thing to like give them but take away? Like,
yeah. I mean, I guess you have to do that. I don't know, but it's still just a little like. Just an apple's an apple, man.
And that's not a huge grudge of mine, by the way.
That's
just the only thing that I didn't get why they did that.
Sure.
It was still great. The lightsaber fight between Rey and Kylo was great, and the ground breaking apart and like really all that shit. Yeah, like I mean, there's so much to like about that film. Oh. That's why it's my number 2. It brought me back to Star Wars. It brought me into the fanboy shit again, where I'm like. Wow. Yes, we're back. Yep. We're back, baby. We got the right guys. We're doing it.
It's strong,
Disney's
man.
taking it. We got it.
Yep.
And then.
Sure. Well, I guess the thing I want to. This will kind of help us transition to the next one, maybe. So,
sure.
You briefly said it earlier. There are a lot of story elements that are probably just a little too similar to.
Yeah. Oh, the whole fucking movie is like reshots of other scenes.
All right. So let's get that out of the way. And then. Like Snoke just sucks, dude. He just feels like he's just a poor man's Palpatine.
See, okay.
It's like, what are you, dude? Like,
you don't like Snoke. I understand why you don't, because they underutilize them. You were saying that to me. You were like, dude, you said that to me. You're like, okay, well, I don't know if you were like, they are, or you're like, maybe that's why. That's probably the right way you said that. Maybe that's why. But in my mind, Snoke was the new Supreme Chancellor. Like he was the new Supreme Lord. And I was like, in my head, my theory was, I've said this a billion times now. My theory was he was one of the younglings that Anakin sliced down in Revenge of the Sith. I thought he was going to be one of the younglings.
And I thought
him coming back to try and wipe out the Skywalker, like the whole family. Yeah. That makes sense. He's trying to get revenge and get all. And I thought that's what Snoke was.
That would have been awesome.
That was his origin story. I was hoping, and then it turned out.
I would have liked him maybe if that were the case.
He was just such a cool character. Like he's super dark.
He's
and
just less cool than
like,
Dooku.
Bullshit.
And Dooku sucks.
No fucking way is he less cool than Dooku.
He's less cool than Dooku.
His name is Snoke. Snoke is a cool, like hard, like. Cool name.
That's like a street drug name. Snoke.
Yeah, dude.
You guys got some Snoke?
He's all snoking out. But he's like his hologram is really cool and like deceiving because he's actually smaller than that. And like, he's very threatening. He's very like commanding. Kylo was like,
dude, he
worshiping
kind
him.
of looks like just an addict hanging outside of a bodega. Like, seriously, man. He's kind of like conclaved on, like,
that's what I'm saying. He was like all fucked up. I was like, okay, this guy got fucked up and something. But you never hear anything about him. There's no backstory. There's no origin story. There's no end story for him. It's just, that's it.
So let's go. Let's go to that. Let's go to our next film.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your number on Last Jedi, Josh?
Episode 8, Last Jedi. If I could erase this film from history, I'd do it.
Yeah.
I'd do it. I'd give up a lot to do that, in fact. 9 is not a low enough position for me to give this film.
This is a bad one. This is a big old stinker.
It's the next two are far and away way worse. The separation from my 7 to my 8 is unreal. Unreal.
Yeah. I go from my second best to my worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
so
the worst.
There's episode 8, The Last Jedi. It's a 9 for me. It's a 9 for you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. So,
or number 9.
In all of them, in all of the movies so far, Josh and I are like, okay, this is what I liked about it. This is what I loved about it. And then these are the couple things I didn't like. This movie has 2 things I like.
I got 1.
The rest I hate.
Yep.
The fight scene in Snoke's throne room.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
One of the best. I was just saying, this is my number 2 favorite lightsaber battle. You were saying, what was it? You were like, the fight scene between Obi-Wan and
Darth Maul.
And then the Darth Maul one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is my second favorite, and then the Obi-Wan Anakin one is my third, and then Duel of Fates is the first.
Wow.
Yeah, but I just loved it. I love the whole cinematography and the throne room's on fire, and and the red troopers are in there, the Imperial Guard are in there. Like, it's so fucking cool, badass. Snoke's dead, his body's laying on the ground. Like, all this really cool effects are happening at the same time. What would have made that movie upper tier, like, great movie twists is if Rey would have sided with Kylo when he was like, join me. When Kylo looks at Rey and says, your parents are nothing. You come from nothing. You are nothing.
You delivered that well.
That was so fucking powerful. That was so brutal to hear that. You're just like, holy shit, dude. And he's just like, I'm not hurting your feelings. You're fucking nothing. Yeah. You come from nothing. You're nobody. Yeah. And then you're just like, join me and we'll be the greatest duo of all time. And she was just like, nah. And you're like, what? Yeah. Do it.
If you can strip someone's identity from them and then rebuild them the way you want them to, that would have been so cool. That would have been a really cool. I agree. If they would have gone that route, I probably would feel a lot different about that film as a whole.
That's your only favorite part of the movie?
I also kind of like whenever Force Ghost Luke shows up and fights Kylo, and they're like,
I didn't like that.
Dust fighting, he's like sliding around.
I didn't like that.
And then you didn't like that?
None of that. Him doing the fucking,
they shot him,
wiping the fucking,
with like 50 million laser beams from like the super AT-ATs that they
Kylo
the New Order has.
Kylo was the best in Last Jedi. That was his best performance because he was like losing his fucking mind and like super dark side. Yeah. Dude, my favorite scene other than the throne room is her charging into the Death Star hyperdrive. That was so fucking cool. That was the coolest battle scene in all the Star Wars movies.
No.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
What?
When she takes that last ship after all the shit she was doing with Poe Dameron and all that stuff. She's like, get the fuck out of here. I got this. I'm taking charge. And it makes
a lot of sense that they didn't have the technology for her to just steer that thing into it anyways.
What do you mean?
Why did she have to be on the ship for that?
I don't know about that. Whatever. That part doesn't bother me. It's just the effect, like what it did was so cool because I never thought about that in any of the movies. I'm like, why don't they just kamikaze some shit into the Death Star? Why didn't they do that with like the Millennium Falcon?
You're right.
Put a huge thermonuclear bomb on there, bump that thing in there. And they did it in this, and you're just like, whoa, they can do that?
Like,
holy shit.
It looked really cool, too. And to be fair, the movie is visually very pleasing. It
but the whole casino
really
scene,
nice as far as I go.
Hated.
Well, the casino scene sucked. We're going to get there. Let's get there. But But I'm just saying, if we're gonna give credit where credit's due, the film looked.
Oh,
nice.
absolutely.
Like,
All these.
the filmmaking aspect of it, they did a lot of things right.
The new
audio's
generation
nice,
of
like,
shit. So it's like,
great.
yeah.
They just fucked up
The story.
So bad.
The dialogue's not bad. Like, and nothing. That's the thing about these movies.
The acting's bad. It's just
the story is so utterly piss poor.
It's so bad. Okay, all right, let's go. Let me start with this, and I'm gonna try and purge this from my vocabulary after this. I'm gonna say it one final time.
Is that what
subverting expectations?
Okay.
And that was the whole thing with we're going to subvert your expectations with this film. And you think it's going to be like this and going to be like this. And you think you know how it works, but it works this way. Yeah. And you think you know what Star Wars is, but I'm going to tell you what Star Wars is.
Okay.
I hate that, man. Yeah. That
Give me
was
Star Wars.
So disappointing, man. Yeah. Give me Star Wars.
Give me Empire. Yeah. Give me a New Age Empire.
That's I don't need you to rewrite the rules on how all of this stuff works. Yeah. Like, no thanks. Like, no thank you.
I agree.
Leia flying through space. We've talked about this a little bit before in the podcast. My most hated film or most hated scene or moment in film history.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
I agree. 100%.
It's so bad.
It's cringy as fuck.
It's so cringy.
In a multi-million-dollar movie with some of the greatest cast members, some of the greatest directors, some of the greatest writers, some of the greatest editors, and you do that and not think you're going to get some fucking blowback from your fans. That is ridiculous. Yep. That is a ridiculous, dumbass choice.
Who was sitting there watching the first cut of the film and being like, "Oh yeah, this works."
Yeah.
Who was in that meeting? What were they doing? What were they not
watching?
Write
Carrie Fisher out of the film in the second one? Not like, oh, she's going to die for sure in real life.
Missed opportunity. That character.
It was a huge missed opportunity. Like, kill off the old, and then you got the new. Like, that's what it should have been.
Show me really how bad Kylo Ren is. Now, he goes through with the act, but make me feel it.
Yeah.
You know?
That was a huge letdown. Like, you were expecting... When he got cut in the face, I thought that was going to be like a disfigurement, and he was going to be like really badass looking. And then the next one, he comes out, and I'm like, wait, there's nothing fucking wrong with him. Okay. We totally bypassed this whole thing of Luke throwing the lightsaber.
No,
that was beyond disrespectful to fans. That hurt me.
That was like a middle finger 4 minutes into the film.
It was, I mean, immediately I was like, oh, I don't like this. Yep. I don't like this. This is not right. It was like my uncle touching me. Like, I'm like, what is happening? I don't like this. Stop.
And it was like, man, but
exactly. I love the Star Wars, but you're doing things I don't like. Like, it honestly is like, it was so perverse watching him act like a fucking dumbass. You're just like, why are you sucking on a tit with blue milk right now?
Yeah.
Why are you fucking around with all this shit?
Hitting everything.
Dude,
It
was so disappointing.
Yeah, it was awful. That was not the Luke Skywalker that we've, come to love.
But I heard like Mark Hamill was really pissed about that shit.
So that was another thing I wanted to say is basically the cast reaction and backlash from them. Like, he was probably the most vocal about it. But it kind of seemed like everyone was like, we made this movie and...
It was like Game of Thrones, like you were saying.
Yeah.
That last one's, everybody's like, what do you think of it? And they're like, we did it.
The cast and crew worked really hard on this one. We made it. Like that. That's it.
There was a lot of money.
That sucks, dude. That sucks. That was not Luke Skywalker. Like, what poor treatment that he got right there. And it was just sad. But it's just so disrespectful in the way that he just tossed the lightsaber. So out of character.
Yeah. Like, I get it. Like, I don't know. I loved the storyline of him like almost killing Kylo and going through that like that idea of like, oh my God, I could stop this right now. I feel the dark side, like all that shit. And then you see Luke and he's just so like passive, casual, goofy. You're like, this is not a man that just went through some serious fucking torture, mental torture.
I agree.
And he's a trained ultramarine Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You have more class than that. Like, not only class, that's beyond his character. Like you're saying, that would not be something he did. He would be like, he probably wouldn't even grab it. If at that point he wouldn't even want to touch it, let alone grab it and toss. You're just like
the guy with more hope in all of the galaxy, the whole universe. And it's, You know,
That's a fucking disappointment.
it was very disappointing. I hate Holdo. I don't know if I made that clear either, but
The woman?
yeah, I just don't like that character. I don't like how confrontational she is with Poe immediately.
I didn't mind her.
Oh,
I don't know why.
you know what? You're gonna do what you're told. You know why? Because you're just a fly boy, and because I'm in charge now. And it's like that sounds like some New Order shit right there,
Yeah.
Miss Holdo. Like, once you let your number one pilot and kind of your go-to guy here in on the plan a little bit, like you're gonna force a mutiny. She's just an idiot. I could have done without her. I thought Rose was maybe the most pointless character that
I didn't get that.
ever put in.
What
and
was
they
the
like
point of Rose?
backtracked off of her so hard. They're in the next film, they're just like, yeah, you're in it, but we're not really going to give you anything to
It was
do
like her
or say.
sister or something died on
Yeah, they
the
were like,
beginning or some shit.
yeah, she's like a resistance fighter pilot
They
or
just
something.
they put in all this stuff to be like, we're new age, we're with the times, we're like LGBTQ like aware, and we're like feminist. That's fucking cool. Make them cool characters. They
Just
don't need
do
to
the
be
character
dumb
service
fucking
then.
side characters. Yeah,
Do
Leia's
make
a
the
strong,
writing
powerful
work.
woman. Like yeah. You can. You have a black lead.
Yep.
You have Princess Leia. You have all this shit. Just do it right.
Don't do these things just to do it. Give them their due respect that they
Absolutely.
deserve. Like, give them the treatment that they should have. Like, I'm for the inclusivity too, but
Totally
not
fine.
at the sacrifice of the story. Like, well,
That's the thing. Yeah, they would do it, like you were saying, just to do it. And you're like, well, that's almost worse. That's almost a slap in the face to the LGBTQ community.
More. Could not agree more.
You're not doing it to be like, hey, I respect you. Let's put a strong, like trans lead. Anything better than like Rose. Like, there is literally no point to her character. Like you're saying, why did Finn not kill himself? That would have been such a cool fucking moment in the story.
His sacrifice right there
would have been so fucking cool, because it would have been pointless.
She's like, hey, dum-dum, don't do that because I like you a little bit.
And then they didn't even, I thought they didn't even fall in love or anything. Like, I thought that was the whole point of their thing, was this romantic relationship, and it didn't bloom into anything.
Nothing.
The movie was so fucking disappointing. The planet was cool as shit, and like the red dust made it look like blood almost, and like really cool, and like Hux and Kylo were having that like super hardcore power, like, challenge. It was great. And then you get these soft characters, you get this poor storyline, and they're just jamming shit down your throat that you're like, why force the shit instead of making it what it could be? Expand it for 3 more films, put in more characters, add that extra shit, do the work. Why force all this shit to like, all right, we gotta get done. We have a deadline. We have 3 years to do this. Let's get it done. I don't know. Yeah.
So, do we want to talk about Canto Bite, the casino world? The most empty task of.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. Like, what was the point? What we're doing? Like, I guess you guys were on this errand that amounted to nothing. To
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. For you guys to tell us, like, yeah, war's bad, and like, somebody's profiting off the good guys and the bad guys, and here we are partying with all your money, and we mistreat animals, and guess what? Well, there might be a little kid down there in the stables that's force sensitive.
Yeah, no shit.
Is that all is that okay?
And then they get back, and then they're like, real quick, we're just gonna kill off Phasma. And then she's just dead. And then you're like, what? I thought she was a fucking main character. Like, you kill off Phasma. There's your strong female lead. Mm-hmm. Like, she's so badass, dude. Like, her helmet should have like came off, and she should have came in and like killed one of them. Like, the strong ultra fucking Marine woman, like super badass. And yet they're just like, yeah, she just fell down in the fire, and now she's gone. All right, cool. So let's wrap it up. And you're like, why are you doing it this way?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about Phasma.
I love Phasma.
But
her armor's so cool when she comes out in Force Awakens, and she's just like, you're like, who the fuck is that?
Shiny.
Yeah, you're like, that's so cool, dude. And I don't know. I really liked her a lot.
She survived a trash compactor.
She did.
I guess that was something. But you don't really ever see her do much, which is why I have a hard time really thinking much of her, I suppose.
Same with Snoke. Like you don't. There are these characters that could have been something much more.
Yeah.
And I know Snoke's a really big favorite of yours, but we just got to get past
that. One other thing I want to say before we move on from this here. What the hell's the time frame of this film? Is it a day? Does this happen in one day? Is this just like it's like a police chase in space? It makes no sense. Sort of.
They're at the casino and they're having a battle. Snoke's battle's going on in the throne room. They're trying to get away. They're coming back from the casino at some point. Yep. Then they get there. They're in there when the fucking shit collides or some shit. Like, it makes no fucking sense time-wise. It makes no sense.
We got him on a rope, but we can't catch up to him outside of 400 yards away.
Yeah, what the fuck is that about? And then they land on... How did they get on the planet so fast, but they couldn't follow them in space? They couldn't follow them.
But there's, like, shuttles coming off the... like, you couldn't send in another group of ties. Like, what do you mean you can't catch up to them? Yeah. I don't get what rules we're playing by anymore. The Force or space, it's all fictitious, whatever. But like, give me some consistency, I guess. And
they're just trying to wrap it up. It was so
weird. Like I'm trying to think of the time frame of like all the other films. It's like days, months, weeks. Like all this time goes by, and this is like 1 or 2 days.
How the fuck did they get to that planet and back?
That's weird. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know hyperspace, but I can't imagine hyperspace is instantaneous. Sure. Otherwise, there'd be
they jumped and then they followed them into the jump, and then they were still like just cruising for a while.
Will you hand me one of them BLSs?
Oh yeah,
Bud Light salsa. Give me a BLS.
Got it.
Don't give me a mango. I want something different.
Do you really?
Yeah. Got a blueberry.
How about a BC BLS? That's black
cherry. I'll take it.
Black cherry. It's one of my favorite Kickstart flavors right there.
You know they canceled Kickstart?
No. I'm just kidding. No, they would never. I took Four Loko from me, so don't you dare. God. Just kidding.
Ooh, that's really good.
Nice.
That's really good.
Good. All right. Well, I don't know. Just if you own this DVD, you should probably just throw it away.
And to be fair, there was a lot of pressure on this film.
There's a lot of pressure.
This was supposed to be the next Empire, which is, I think majority speaking, it's the people's favorite Star Wars movie of all time. And you're comparing The Last Jedi that hadn't come out yet to one of the greatest movies of all time already. That's a lot. Now, all they had to do was some minor shit to make it great. Didn't have to be the best.
It was mostly story stuff.
Yeah.
Almost entirely.
Yeah.
Well, it's the most divisive. This divided the fan base.
Oh, yeah.
More than...
Yeah. I stuck around for a long time with Last Jedi. I still was really riding that wave of Force. I am that kind of guy where I'm like, I really fight for something when I'm like, okay, I want it. I want to like this. I want it so bad. And there was, like I said, there was some cool, like, the hyperspeed into the Snoke's throne room fight. That was all great.
Two things. Yep.
You still haven't talked about Benicio del Toro.
Is that what you were doing?
The whole fucking time.
I don't know. What do you want to say about that guy? Like,
Nothing.
Hey, we went to this planet to go find this one guy. Didn't work out. We're sharing a cell with another guy that can do the same thing for us, and then he betrays us.
And then he betrays immediately because he's in a prison cell.
Yeah.
So fucking dumb. That whole thing could have been cut.
DJ, was that his name?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here with
Give me a Star Wars name.
DJ.
Yeah, I don't need a DJ. I need a Star Wars name.
Yeah.
Give me a Galunka, or some shit like that. I don't know. Like that, the whole casino
Did
thing.
You say Galunka?
Galunka would have been cool. Yeah. I don't know.
That's an infinitely better name than DJ.
Yeah, Galunka.
For Star Wars.
What's your name? Galunka.
Galunka does that.
You're just like
DJ doesn't do that.
The whole time you're like, what are you doing? You're like, what the fuck? I don't trust this guy at all. Immediately. If somebody come up to me and was like, you want me to help you? I'd be like, no, you need fucking help. Don't help me with this cause that's going to literally save my friends' lives.
Like right down the street, dude. I will not drive you there, but I will draw you a map on a napkin. All
you can ride on a skateboard and I'll tow you behind.
You can sketch your way down to it.
Jesus Christ, Galunka. Get out of here. Yeah, that's a 9 out of 9 for me.
9 out of 9.
It's a 9 out of 9.
Which is basically a 0 out of 100.
That's a fail. Yeah. That's a failing grade.
Moving on.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Here we go. Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. This clocks in at number 8 for me.
As well for me.
Yep. Let's talk about some things that worked. My favorite thing, and I wanted to compare.
I just got to give you a heads up. Yeah. I've only seen this film one time.
Yeah.
And I saw it at home.
Yeah.
It's the only Star Wars movie I did not see in the theaters.
So this is a Star Wars fan that was so wrong by The Last Jedi. He didn't even go to theaters.
I fought so hard for Last Jedi. After it came out, finally I succumbed to after watching it multiple times, succumbed to the horrible fucking acts that were, the atrocities that were committed in this film, that it literally gave me no hope for The Rise of Skywalker, that I didn't even go see it in theaters.
See, that was you not going to the theaters was the same for me, or my version of
getting rid of all your books.
Getting rid of the books.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It was a physical action.
The thing is I didn't go out of my way.
Release my pain.
I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, that's so sad to say. That's last of the Skywalker saga, I just didn't give a shit because I knew it wasn't going to live up to the hype. I knew it. I just knew it. I knew I was going to leave that theater disappointed. So I was like, I got better shit to do.
Yep.
I saw like 2 other movies in the theaters too instead of that.
That's so funny.
I didn't even give a fuck. I didn't even care. I didn't follow anything into it. Like, I didn't care about any of it.
Yep.
Whatever.
Gimli, the Chihuahua.
He's sleeping.
She's napping over here. Reminds me a little bit of Babu Frick, which I think is probably my favorite thing about
Babu's
that film.
cool, yeah.
Babu was just a cute, fun little character who
That's
had
right. He brings C-3PO's like brain back on.
Great little like moments that I loved him.
Yeah,
that was great. Well done. Very.
I feel like I'm getting like shit mixed up. So they're on that planet,
fuzzy.
And then who is with them? That's like the girl comes up.
It's like Poe's ex-girlfriend that he knows from
You sure
somewhere.
it was Poe? Was it Poe?
Yeah.
I said, I only saw that shit
like
once.
Kind of sleek and like talking about.
And she was on the planet. She was like an assassin or some shit.
Yeah. Yep.
And they were like,
Poe knew her.
oh, okay.
He's like, you want to get back together or something? She's like, no.
It's just,
hard pass.
It's so dumb because I remember the very end and you're like, oh, here she comes in her plane. And like everybody, they're all here to take out these 100,000 Star Destroyers, these ultimate death machines. And then people are coming in like pod racers. Yep. Fucking Gunka's like coming up the rear on his skateboard and like
armor's flying off the ship. There's loose parts, loose wires. Yeah.
It's like one of those old cars from like Mickey Mouse, like sputtering. It's like, just trying to catch up. And they're just like,
what the hell's Mickey Mouse doing there? It's
so fucking dumb. It was so dumb. And then they kill them all, like everything. Like they're just like, oh, by the way, the good triumphs evil.
Yeah.
You're like, come on.
It just happens. Something else I actually really liked about this film, Babu is probably my favorite thing, I guess. But whenever there's this whole force transfer thing that they start hinting at in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And it gives us a pretty good payoff whenever Rey force transfers a lightsaber to Kylo Ren.
Yep.
Now that was a rule that was broken.
I'll say that was the one, wasn't it? That everybody got upset.
I don't know. Is that the one? I mean, I guess it was sort of that interaction. I mean, the flying around in space.
That's actually canon.
That was the flying around in space.
It was in book. Nate was telling me about it. He said he read it. It was Luke did it. But yeah, it was canon.
I don't like anything you just said.
Yeah,
any bit.
It was a tough pill to swallow. But
I'm not swallowing that.
You'll swallow. After a couple more beers, you'll swallow.
Yeah,
they always do.
I thought that was a good payoff for that because I hated it. Cool. I didn't like the way that was like, what are we doing?
At this point, I'm just like, oh, cool. What movie are we watching again?
Yeah, what was that?
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting, and I thought there were a couple of decently timed jokes in this film.
Sure.
whenever there's the reveal that Hux is like the double agent or whatever.
Yeah.
That was kind of a funny bit. He's like, I thought it, like that was cool. I kind of like that. And
then they kill
moment.
him like right away or some shit.
I think so, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I only saw it once and it was garbage.
I saw it once in theaters too, and then I watched about a third of it again. And then I was just like, I don't need this.
Okay, so this is probably not a bad movie. It's probably not a bad Star Wars movie, but I am so turned off from the creators from Last Jedi that anything that Disney had to do with a new movie, I was just like, yeah, I don't want any part of this.
You took the wind out of our sails here.
Yeah, it was so bad. And then now you look at it and it's so scarred that it's like Snoke's ball sack, like I don't even want to look at it. I don't even want to fucking look at it. And I'll look at any ball sack and I don't want to look at this one. It's just disgusting.
You'll look at it, you'll touch it.
Yeah, okay, so I did write some stuff down here.
Are you talking about things that aren't working for you at this point or what? Or just
I was pretty much only talking about stuff that didn't work.
Yeah, great point. I was digging a little bit there too.
Okay.
All right, lay some things on me. I want to see. I see got some crossover, I'm sure.
Okay, so yeah, there was the whole movie was so confusing. There was never it was like
it the rush film.
Yeah. It was so rushed because I'm pretty sure of the I will go on record saying after Empire, the greatest Star Wars movie is Rogue One. I'd have to say. Wow. That movie is superb. They bring in Clone Wars with Forrest Whitaker's character.
Yes.
They tie in where you can get your lightsaber in the crystals from that fucking location on the planet that they're on. Mm-hmm. It's phenomenal. It's so good. I don't even know where I'm going. I don't mean to go into Rogue One, but that movie was so well done, and then they made this, and you're like,
right?
Why? Why did they do that? Why is this so rushed and so confusing when they literally were like, I guarantee you in Rogue One, they were like, you guys want to make a Star Wars movie? And they're like, yeah, we should. That would be cool. That'd be fun. We should do that.
Should do that.
You got some money for us? And they're like, yeah. By the way, can you solve the problem why there's a hole in the Death Star? And they're like, yeah, we could do that. And that was their whole thing. They made the whole movie around that.
Yep.
And you're like, that was awesome. Why didn't they do that with these fucking movies? Yeah. Why didn't they make Mace Windu come back as like the bad guy? Why didn't they make fucking, any other thing besides Palpatine? Why is Palpatine the enemy in all three fucking movies?
Yep.
Is it because Skywalker's a Skywalker in all three movies? I have no fucking idea. But in every single movie, the bad guy's the same guy. Give me a fucking break. Like, come on. You've changed all this shit.
Trilogies.
Yeah. You change all this shit. Sorry, 3 movies. I meant 3 trilogies. Yeah. And you can't change that. That's the thing that you fucking die on. That's the hill you die on with Palpatine. And then, to be fair, I thought that was pretty cool that Rey was a Palpatine. Never saw that fucking coming.
Yeah.
Never saw that coming. I thought she was going to be a fucking Kenobi for sure. I thought Kenobi had sex with that one girl in Clone Wars.
That's what I
wanted.
Why
not that? Why not that?
Bring the Mandalorians.
That's just so fucking cool, man. And then they came out with Mandalorian TV show. It's like Mandalorian was going on concurrently with this.
Mm-hmm. Right before.
So it's like, what the fuck, you guys? You can make good shit. Nope. Why desecrate the Skywalker saga? I don't know.
You're right. It was a very rushed attempt. And it was very clear that they were kind of just doing damage control and salvaging what they could from The Last Jedi. And it just didn't work.
No.
It just didn't work. They were in a bad spot there, and they really didn't do a whole lot to help get themselves out of it.
Yeah.
Bringing back Palpatine is super duper lame. And the thing that irritates me the most about it is that it makes Anakin's story arc and redemption irrelevant.
Yeah. He sacrificed himself to kill the Emperor.
Yep. You're the chosen one. Well, but not. He's back.
Yeah.
It probably has.
I am surprised that Anakin's like Force body wasn't like, oh, real quick, just to throw it back. We'll pick up, as soon as Palpatine dies, we'll pick up his Force body and throw his Force body down in there, and then Anakin's Force body will fall down, and you're just like, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
Did Kylo die? I don't know. Did he die? Yeah, he did die. Wait, he didn't die. Yes, he is dead. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? Is she dead? Oh, she died. No, she's not dead. You're like,
dead.
What the fuck?
The worst ending line of any film ever.
Oh, yeah.
Ray. Ray who? Skywalker. I swear to God, she should have just said, Ray? Ray who? Star Wars. That's how that should have ended. And I've been like, oh, I get it. They were fucking with us the whole time. This whole thing was a joke.
Ray Star Wars.
You did it.
I am Ray Star Wars.
Play it again. Play it again. You know? I would have been fine with that. No, it was just, that was so cringy and bad.
Yeah.
No,
She wasn't a fucking
no,
Skywalker.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Lineage matters a lot.
Yeah.
And no, you're not. And no, you're not.
Was she a gray Jedi then?
I don't know.
Because that's how the balance came?
Yeah, sure. I guess.
Yeah, because Kylo had to die, because if he was a Jedi and she was a gray Jedi,
Yeah.
you'd still need the dark side to have balance. So he had to die for her to be the gray Jedi to be balanced. Stupid.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was all right.
Isn't that funny though? That's the shit they're like, we need to be hypercritical on this.
Yeah.
Otherwise the fans are going to crucify us. And it's
Right.
like, what? Who gives a shit about the balance of the Force in the end? If the good wins, who cares? You know, like fucking you won.
Yeah.
Make a cool ending. I would rather
Make a
have
cool
that
ending.
than sticking to this fucking hardcore lore that you're like, all right, the balance was already there. You know, like we already had the balance and now it's off again. So I guess the balance isn't really really there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just sad. I'm not even angry. I'm not disgusted. I'm sad. It just hurt.
Just disappointed.
Really, it is.
I don't know. I'm
It's
kind of
just
getting worked
disappointing.
up a little bit here as I talk about it.
I mean,
so.
yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm all fired up, but it did hurt. It just hurt. It hurt. You know, conceding to all the hate of Last Jedi and really like understanding that it was justified. It wasn't just shit people spouting like the prequels. Right. I feel like people give the prequels a real hard time, and I don't think it's justified. There are certain parts of the prequels that were garbage, but I mean, fucking every movie's got garbage shit.
Sure.
But like these last two, well, Last Jedi was the worst.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker probably wasn't that bad.
The gap between these
two
two are pretty great, even.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Rise of Skywalker is much, much better than Last Jedi.
It's just still bad.
It's just bad.
It's just bad.
It's just bad because you're coming off of such a shit. You know, you're just
I do want to mention a couple other things here too. Some other points.
Let me tell you this one thing.
Yeah.
So I was asking my dad, I was like, you know, about Phantom Menace and all that shit. And he was like, yeah, you know, I was like, yeah, and I didn't really mind the young kid, you know? And I was like, but Hayden Christensen, I didn't really like him. And he's like, yeah, he's like, if you got to take a shit and then you go to the bathroom and you're about to push it out and you just fart. That's kind of like that kid. And that's his acting. And I was like, dude, you're right on.
Thank you, Daddy. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
There's just another missed opportunity with the Knights of Ren, because they could have been so cool.
I think they're coming back.
So little of them.
Oh, did you hear the new news 2 days ago?
We're gonna get into that in a second.
Oh, you did?
Well, I think so.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
that was hugely missed opportunity.
Correct.
They fucked that all up.
Yeah. Yep.
Killed them all. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
It was bizarre. It was like, you brought us back just to like kind of tease us and not really give us much with that at all. Disappointing.
And they were cool. That's the
They
shittiest
looked
part.
cool.
They looked
They
cool
could
as
have been
fuck.
cool. They could have been just fine, but man, I don't really like this. All these like item map things that they had.
Yeah.
Kylo had to get like a cube that would lead him to Exegol, like
Yeah.
somehow get him in there, which that's going to lead me to another point in a second. And then like the weird artifact thing that's like if you're standing right on a certain point
Very
on the
Indiana
cliff
Jonesy.
of this thing, then you hold it up and it looks
Yeah.
like part of the Death Star that's fallen that this guy had, and that's where you go, and you just happen to be standing in the right spot. Like that was kind of dumb.
You had to be in like the perfect fucking spot.
Literally, you had to be standing in the exact spot.
You
Yeah.
couldn't stand anywhere else.
Couldn't.
So there's like, How unrealistic is that? You can't stand anywhere else, and they happen to be standing there. You're like, okay.
Yep. The whole Exegol thing and the cube leading to, logistically speaking, the way that they would have like constructed the secret fleet on Exegol, the Sith planet, makes my brain hurt. How the hell do you have hundreds of thousands of ships, all the resources flying in and out of this thing you can't get in and out of because of these Sith storms that are going on? And you're telling me nobody ever, if they did make it through that stuff, no one ever leaked any information to anybody about where this stuff is, where there's the only way you can get to it is if you have this one cube. Call it a Sith holocron because it probably should have been that, but it wasn't. It was a GPS cube to send them. Yeah, to send them to the, like, it doesn't make sense how they would have built a fleet there. I know this is so, it seems petty, but it's like, how the fuck were they feeding these guys? Like, where are these resources coming from? They're not even the New Order. Or are they? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. And it just doesn't make sense. There's no story there. They're just there.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
They pushed it. They rushed it. They grabbed every resource they could of all the Star Wars stuff, and they pushed it all into this film.
Yep. And I guess the final point that I'd like to make is they did kind of squander some of the characters that I did like, and specifically I would say Finn. I liked Finn a lot in The Force Awakens.
He should have sacrificed himself in the last
and he could have had a really nice moment there. And then he kind of just ended up being like, you're just like kind of another guy that's in the film, sort of. And
I mean, he did like that thing he was like jumping around on one of the ships or something.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep, I guess. Sure.
Yeah.
That's
all I remember.
It's funny because they were like, all right, we disabled this one thing. And they're like, oh, they just like activated it on this other thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's
that seems like the
Blight all over again, man.
That's like the movie right there. Yeah, they're all the movies there. They're just like, oh yeah, you're gonna do this one thing. By the way, we're just gonna retract it with this button. Yeah, it's done.
Didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
I also didn't like that there seemed to be this thing where they decided not to go with the relationship with Finn and Rey at some point in time.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it gonna be Rose? No. Okay. And you're kind of like left hanging a little bit, like, well, what's going on there with like Finn and Rey? And then like Finn finds like this other like black chick that's on this planet. Yeah. And it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're like me or whatever, you know? And it's like, what?
Why?
Okay.
Why does
like
you're doing all this like extracurricular, trying to like prove that you're progressive and all this stuff. And then Finn can't fall in love with anybody else except for his own race.
Exactly.
And you're like, why? How did that happen?
And it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like it.
It's just forced as fuck.
It was forced, and it was like, this seems so contrary to
You'd think you'd fall in love with somebody that you're around a lot.
Yep.
Not just somebody that you're like, oh God, oh my God, like, what the fuck?
She had a pretty cute little gap in her teeth, though.
But that's not Finn's like character.
No, you're right. You're right. No, like, absolutely. And that's why I brought it up. It was just like, all right, man, this guy's like not really the guy we thought he was either, too, just kind of by the way they finished writing him, I suppose. So, man, hate to go out on a downer like that, but
we'll come back on.
We'll come back on. So, let's take a break real quick. We're going to combine our scores.
Yep.
And we're going to give you the ultimate.
The final Star Wars countdown.
All right, we'll be right back.
Yep. And we are back with our final tallies, and then just a couple little bit of Star Wars tidbit information that we want to go over. Now, we are probably close to an hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes in right now, so this is going to be a long one.
If you made it this far,
might as well fucking stick around. Yeah.
You might be asleep. Don't count. Only old women count. All right. So now we took the
let's start from the back
rankings.
end.
So we'll start in the back end.
Yeah.
We're gonna say number 9, the worst of the episodic Star Wars films.
So we'll go, and then we'll say it.
All right. You do that, and then I'll say it.
Okay. So the worst of the films.
Yep. The Last Jedi. Number 8. Rise of the Skywalker. of Skywalker. Number 7. Attack of the Clones.
I don't think that's justified, but I guess so.
That's right where I had it.
Yep.
I like it. Number 6. The Phantom Menace.
That's fair.
Numero 5. Revenge of the Sith. Sorry. I had to take a look there. A little mental math. Revenge of the Sith came in at number... What number are we on?
I don't know. The 6.
All right.
Or 5. That was Cinco. That was 5.
That was Cinco. Then we are on...
Cuatro.
Number 4 is Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi. Nice. And number 3?
Oh, these are our top
3. Top 3. These are all really good.
Yeah.
All 3 of these are really good.
Yep.
Honestly, from 7 down, I like them quite a bit.
Yeah.
But these top 3 are upper echelon Star Wars.
The best of the best.
The best of the best. Number 3 is The Force Awakens.
Justified.
I love it. We gave a solid argument for that, I believe.
It was a good movie.
Numero 2. A New Hope. Where it all began.
Yeah.
Cool.
I had hope.
And number 1.
With a score of 2, which is the best you can have.
Best you could have. Your number 1 and my number 1?
Empire Strikes Back.
It always does. The Empire always strikes back. Man, that was fun. I like talking about that. It felt good talking about Star Wars with you.
It was finally a topic that Josh and I can talk about because we've seen all of them and we know all of these things. I mean, we're not professionals, but damn it, we got opinions and we don't give a shit if you want to hear them.
Yep. We're here to share them with nobody and everybody at the same time.
So there is some big news coming out of Star Wars.
Let's go.
Let's see what yours was. Tell me.
I don't know. What's yours?
They're doing a Ben Kenobi origin story, or like a story, a Ben Kenobi story with Kylo Ren.
Oh wait, I actually did not hear that. I was just hearing.
Or I'm sorry, Ben Kenobi, Ben Skywalker.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw where he. I guess I sort of saw that because I
just saw
he had
Twitter
been hired back on by George Lucas or Jon Favreau or something.
I literally saw the picture. I was gonna wait because I figured you knew about it, so I didn't look.
Yeah, I didn't look into under what capacity, but
let me see.
That's cool.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah.
Star Wars rumored to be working on Ben Solo featured movie or series, and it shows Kylo Ren's face. What the hell's that actor's name?
Adam Driver.
Yeah.
So good. This would be before episode 7.
Yep. Oh, I'm guessing Knights of Ren would be in this. It'd be that's what I want to see is like them kicking ass together.
Yeah. That would be cool. I would be excited if that's a thing. I would be very excited.
He said, one of the many perplexing story decisions made in The Rise of Skywalker was the choice to kill off Ben Solo, who had finally returned to the light, only to sacrifice his life to resurrect Rey. The move was met with mass outrage, and various fan campaigns had pushed for Lucasfilm to bring the character back.
And here we go.
Yeah.
That's how it works nowadays, right?
And then the other big news is the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie or series coming out.
Yeah. Well, that's been in circulation for a while. They put it on hold because I guess the writing was kind of bad and they wanted to do it right, or
I just saw
something to that effect. The thing I was going to say was in Mandalorian season 2, some of the rumor stuff is apparently they're going to be venturing and meet Ahsoka Tano.
Oh, really?
Yep. She's going to be
cool.
A bigger character, or at least a character with bigger implications in the Star Wars realm, one that we know already that we're going to go and visit.
Okay.
And connect possibly her training Baby Yoda.
That was the picture I was looking at today.
Huh.
It said...
That's really cool.
It said... the caption was, "You were my brother." I'll put a picture of it on there. But I just thought that was so fucking cool.
Yep.
Such a cool picture. Oh, my eyeball itches.
Man, hate that. Hate that pink eye.
It's, it's when you scratch your butthole and then you scratch your eyeball. They're one and the same to me.
It's the same. The brown eye or the blue eye, Awesome. All right, so just a little tidbit of Star Wars stuff there at the end for you guys.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy. If you made it this far, we really appreciate you guys listening.
One of these times, Josh is going to just have a full fucking stroke.
I'll have a stroke.
I'll
do it.
I'm going to be like, dude, quit fucking around, seriously. And you're like,
somebody help this man.
Jungar or whatever his name is. Junka.
I already forgot it. It was such a good name. All right,
Junka.
Cool. What was it?
A Junka?
Sure. A Junka. Yeah,
no, it was just
still
Junka.
better. You could just put 7 letters together and try and pronounce
all consonants.
it. Yeah, and it's better than. Hey, I'm DJ. Call me Deej.
Deej.
I'm the oldest daughter on Full House.
I was just going to say I'm a 90s
here
kid.
to party. Yeah, for sure. All right. So, again, thanks, guys, for listening.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this. If you're interested, let us know what your order would be for the episodic Star Wars films.
And if you have a film series that you want us to rank, let us know.
Yeah, give us a franchise like that. We would really enjoy that. So, all right. Until next time, thanks again, and bye-bye.
Bye.